hopefully you guys can hear me, and
Hello.
hopefully you guys can hear Richard.
Hello. Hopefully
And,
you can all hear me.
and someone's going to
Yes or
say
no?
yes or no. Good. Rachel, you're off the hook.
Oh, exports online. Yes.
Rachel did log in especially to make sure that we could be heard. You'll notice there is not a third person yet, which is why we kind of held off a couple of minutes there. We're waiting to have Tim join us. It does mean there'll be a little bit of clicking back and forth on the Discord because I'll have to check if he's there or not, unless someone particularly helpful can do that for me. Um, and yeah, because I'll have to keep doing this, which means you'll get to see things until um, we're done. So hopefully he's not far off because then we can get stuck into the real nitty gritty of the thing. I thought there'd be a bit of tech support. So this is
Yeah.
the first time we've logged on in 7 episodes where right off the bat everyone can.
This isn't right. It shouldn't be
Yeah,
working.
yeah,
This is
that's why
wrong.
he's not turned up because if he'd turned
Yeah.
up on time, then that would have meant that there would be no sound. He's obviously
Yeah,
done that on
exactly.
purpose. Um,
He's messed it up.
Anyway, so you were on a boat, Richard, you did a wee tour, and you rushed
I
back,
was. I was
especially
rushed
for
back,
this.
yes. You'll
And
be glad to know, even though there was booze, I did not have a sufficient quantity to impair me.
one glass,
So, yeah, one glass. So I had half. I'm fine.
and that's enough. Yeah, and I cut my hair especially for impressing the Aussie man, and he's not turned up. Um,
Good.
so what you been working on?
I've actually, for once, been quite busy, mate. My tactical squad for my Alpha Legion have been growing
Mm,
sufficiently. I've just added another 20 for our plans for our wee trip next
yep.
week.
Hmm.
I've been cracking on with them. Quite enjoying being back to working on some nice tactical armor. Um, the simplicity of Marines, they're just it's really enjoyable. Not too much detail, not too much going on. So yeah, good all round. And I'm sure, hopefully, most of you have seen in the Discord chat. I was working on my Adeptus Titanicus, probably at the start of the month, I think it was. Got a couple of reavers done for that for Legio Vulturum.
Hmm.
Really pleased with that because that's a game I've been really wanting to get stuck into. So hopefully we'll be getting a few games of that soon, Kieran.
Once you're
But
up
I've
to
been
my
busy.
level, I think you've been hiding, you've been ducking me.
Been,
Don't want to
I've
get
been training.
yeah
Yeah.
montage style. Yeah, so I mean, no one will be. Hopefully, this looks tidier to people who have been coming on these streams. But I did put a bit of effort into making sure the space was a lot tidier, which has been taking up a bit of time. Boring stuff like that, but necessary when the amount of crap on the table is unreal. And then I've sort of filtered through some of these cabinets in the background there to try and. So the World Eaters are off ski next week, probably. They are gone, which has given me a
R.I.P.
bit more room to put some stuff into the cabinets and not have them all crammed up, which is good for me being able to get in and out. And painting wise,
I
not
really like what you've sorry, I really like what you've done with the HQ in the cabinet.
yeah. So
You know, you've lined them all out.
I'll put a picture in the Discord and onto the um, on Instagram, but I've just got this cabinet just you can just see it and no more. I just made sure that each HQ had like its own space, so it's not row upon row of guys. It's they're standing at the front of the cabinet. Just looks a bit better, I think, in terms of the gives them the I don't know the gravitas that they deserve rather than being hidden at the back. Um,
Yeah, you know what? It'll help them stand out, mate, because they're like the main characters, aren't they, in your
yeah,
games and your Legion and all that. So giving them that little bit of space to themselves, I think that's really cool. Good use.
so I'm just going to message them as well. Um, he promised me he was coming back with a coffee with rum in it, so that'll be interesting. Um, so yeah, and other than that, I'm just trying to get so there's a box of Adeptus Titanicus guns here that I've been trying to do the edge on, which I've been using Sharpies for. Not sponsored by Sharpie, but um, that would, that was
Secrets,
yeah,
secrets.
that's lazy. And then yeah, just trying to catch up. And I'll probably do a wee bit of Necromunda, I think, is one of the things that I'd quite like to get painted as well, because that's a bit overdue. I can see the Gary's asked why I didn't sell the Space Wolves. I think I'd have to get rid of a couple of cabinets if I did that, and I don't want to have to replaster the walls. So yeah, it's not that wasn't an option. They're the true love. They'll never go. Be buried with them. But so it's just been that. It's just been sort of plugging away, trying to get stuck into that. And other than that,
Good.
just get some games. I mean, that's one of the things that's been interesting, and hopefully we'll get to chat to Tim about it. Is the sort of the lockdown stuff's been very strange for getting games in, I think, because right now down
Yeah.
in we've got the Durham events going on this weekend. Pictures from that look great. Looks like it'll be really fun. There's another event, and I've forgotten the name of it. Um, oh, it'll come to me later. They're doing an event as well this weekend, and it all looks brilliant, and it makes me
Mm.
just want to do it. But I was chatting to so Rachel's away this weekend, and she was saying even going to like a restaurant that's full feels really strange now because it's been so long since that's been an option.
Yeah, it's almost. You know what? It's almost like we've sort of conditioned into being unable to play games that we're finding it
Yeah,
hard to get out of that pattern. But yeah, I'm hope like we had a discussion this week about kickstarting things a bit more. Hopefully, yeah, we just need to do it. Get something arranged, get a date in the calendar, and hopefully get something going.
I think so. I think it's just
Um,
getting I don't know, like not getting over it because obviously it's a big thing. You can't just say get over COVID because it's not
yeah,
gone and the cases are on the rise again. But
yeah,
trying to try and get something going locally to
yeah.
then try and um, big it up.
It's getting out of that normality we had found ourselves in for the past what 2 year and a half, 2 years. Is it as
Yeah,
much as that?
yeah, it's
No, year and a half.
year and a
Year
half.
and a half.
But yeah,
Yeah,
it's that sort of. I don't know, and I'm not like it's not like I've been. Not, well, according to, if I told the police that I've been abiding by all of the rules, but between you and me, we've not been 100% strict on all the rules.
no,
But it is a bit odd, and going over the border to England because of different rules, that'll be interesting next week in terms of the um, like mask wearing
yeah,
down there's just disappeared now, so it'll be interesting to see what that brings. Um,
yeah, absolutely.
but I
Yeah,
just need to get planning some stuff, and I think most of the people in the chat at the minute are from Scotland. Tell me if I'm wrong, um, and just need to try and get that organised. And I know the other
mhm.
event guys, are doing their sort of monthly meetups and things like that, and maybe we need to do the same up here and just try and get stuck into those things.
Yeah. Quite good. It's quite good for them. I take it you're talking about the guys in Stirling
Yeah,
and Glasgow and that.
around there, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So obviously they've got common ground games, so that's quite handy for them as a business because they've opened up. But for ourselves, we're still sort of limited, aren't we, to hall restrictions and all that. A lot of the local halls seem a bit apprehensive at the minute still. But
I've just
there's
been
always houses.
just been told by Willie that he's noticed how mental my hairline is. Like I keep telling you guys, it's always been like this, and the pictures are picture proof. When I'm down at my folks next, I'll shoot you a picture of the. This is just the curse of the hairline, I'm afraid. Um, can't be helped. It's probably dealing.
It's all right.
Maybe
I'll give you a hair transplant, Kieran.
maybe
It's
a
fine. I've got
little
plenty,
bit
but
of it is because I've been playing with you guys so long and been doing this so much that it's rubbed this bit away, just in frustration. But no, it's always been
uh,
that, which is nice. You can talk anyway, Willie, just because you're not on the stream. um, so what we'll probably
see
do
his
now
face.
then is we'll get the pictures up that we normally share about the halfway point. Give Tim a little bit more time. I'm sure I did last message I sent him. I did say, "Are you going to have your makeup ready for being on camera?" So maybe he's panicked a little bit and he feels that he's got to get dolled up a bit. So what we'll do is we'll just go through the pictures. We'll start with yours, Richard. So this was
Yep,
one
on
of
you
the
go, mate.
first ones that you sent me. And
Yep.
obviously I'm biased because it's a Space Wolf model, and a very good one. I think
Yeah.
the sort of the character in that model like given it's a plain Leviathan, and the Space Wolves never got their one when they got their units and stuff. It's a brilliant sort of the sort of character in that model is very strong. But what else do you got to say about it?
Yeah, do you know what really drawed me to it? I don't actually think this guy specifically plays 30k. He plays 40k. Looking at his account and that, and I'll be honest, I don't actually know where he is, where in the world. But do you know what really struck me about it was the additional parts he's put on there, like the chains, the shield, the furs, and the way he's brought that all together. It's a bit of a. You don't have any other photos of the other pictures you put up?
I don't. I've just got the next lot.
Nah. Right. Okay. No, that's cool. It's just it looks best when you go through all the photos, and you'll see what I mean. It all comes together. It's so cool. It's just that additional parts, and the posing is great on it. He's almost got it like it's sort of angled that he's kicking himself off from like a fallen rock.
Right. Okay.
But when you see it and look at the photos, it's absolutely stunning. It's great. It's a great use of posing and parts.
And all that as well. Yep. I think the
Yeah,
sort of
yeah, it's great.
it's a cool. I think the idea is cool. You can sort of just imagine that was like you can almost see who the Space Wolf was that's inside there. He's got his shield is attached to it. He's got like his wolf pelts that he maybe was wearing or buried in or whatever. Well, not buried because he's still alive,
Yeah.
but wrapped up in when he was taken off the battlefield. That sort of stuff I think stands out in that model. It's really
Yeah.
cool. And then your second one, and these are brilliant conversions. I think it's such an obvious thing to do as well, like in terms of recycling bits that you maybe can get on the cheap from other kits.
Yeah. So the Sky Seekers are a new unit, obviously from Book 9 Crusade. Now I've used them a couple times. Unfortunately for Keenan, and it was against him. And I, do you know what? I love that unit. And what struck me to these was how simple they looked as a conversion, because you can tell. To me, it just looks like he's got obviously the plastic Space Marine bikes, and he's just sort of attached them to an engine of one of the flyer kits.
Yeah, I think
I don't know what flyer kit it is. I assume it must be one of the plastic kits.
Yeah, I think it's the small one. I think it's the Stormhawk or whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Because that had wings that could tilt. The model allowed you to tilt it, and you can see on the furthest left and right ones. I think he's just glued a base over the bit where it joins to the model.
Yeah, I thought that was where it was. That was a joint part there or something.
Pretty sure that's the engine of the. It's called like the Stormhawk Interceptor or something. Or was the one before that where it's kind of like a hovering gunship type thing? Don't know how cheap it would be to get. Well, I guess you get two per kit. So if that model cost like 20 quid, it's not that bad. But then you need a Space Marine bike for the back. Could be done.
Yeah, I mean, the reason it caught my eye was how simple that conversion is, really, and it just shows a bit of ingenuity from Tonka. Like, just he's obviously come up with that himself. It looks fantastic, and I'm going to be honest. I'm going to steal it. And I'm going to make my own because I love that unit, and I've only got 3 bikes, and I'm going to get more and make them like this. So thank you very much, Tonka 567. They're going to get thefted.
Get 2 or 4 or 6 because you're going to get multiples if you're buying the things to make it.
Yeah, I will. Hopefully, what's the magazine manufacturer called?
Hatchet.
You know the one I mean?
Hatchet. Yeah, Hatchet. I think that's the company. Hatchet.
So they did have a code on, didn't they, for 20% off if you spent over 30 quid. And you can back order issues, and I'm sure they did an order issue with bikes.
They did do bikes because I bought the assault bikes. That's what my one. That's the sidecars I'd used. If this had been 2-3 months ago, I had like 6 bikes. I could have just given you them. I only went for like a tenner on eBay.
Yeah. See, now I've got ideas. Now spending money already.
You can buy the assault bikes. Was that attack bikes? Sorry, not attack bikes. You could use the sidecar.
Oh, you're talking about attack bikes.
Yeah. Use the sidecar on something else, and then use the bikes. So you get, and it's the same price for the issue if it's in stock.
Yeah.
So there you go. Or sell
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
sidecars. Yeah, so
Awesome.
that one's really, really cool. Anyway, and using
Yeah.
the
I like it.
old sort of word bearers colours as well, I think is really smart. I think that's
Mm.
the first look, you're like, oh, it's Space Wolves, and then you're like, oh no, it's not. And the whole army kind of benefits from being that alternative scheme.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so that was the two that you sent me, and then
Yeah.
these are, I don't know if they deserve their shout out because they haven't even bloody turned up, but I was going to show off who they were, and just in case for some reason you don't know,
Sorry.
given how many followers and stuff they have, and then some of the stuff that they've been working on recently that we wanted to talk to them about. So they've got obviously they're kind of pushing their Adeptus Titanicus and other games just now, and they're that packing material at the back there, I just love that. And like when I saw
Mm.
that, and I just thought, oh, blooming heck, I need to see if I can get some of that stuff to make the terrain like that. They've even gone beyond with that sort of themed tableware. In order to not be melting into the lava, everything has to be built on a stand, which is a great way of sort of
Mhm.
adding height to your terrain as
Yeah.
well. It's
Yeah.
all that sort of idea is really clever. So um, hopefully we can rip that idea off and use that in our own stuff. Um,
Yeah. Absolutely.
and then this is Michael, who's part of the team's army, I believe. Yeah, it says Mike there. And they did a live stream of a game on YouTube, and it was like the language was off the scale, but it was really fun, and it was quite interesting the sort of combo of the armies that they had, and listening to how
Yeah.
they went through the game. So that would have been quite nice to have got to get a wee bit more, given that that's three um, armored Proteuses. See what
Mm.
Michael sort of does with his army, because Cacophony aren't necessarily the best unit in the Emperor's Children list, but en masse, I imagine
No.
they do quite a lot of damage.
Yeah. Mm.
Okay, and
Yeah.
then
But hopefully they get on and they can talk a bit about their sort of local meta and that. Then
yeah, just
maybe
I
that's
think
a
that
hint of what it's like.
that would be quite interesting to see if you can be a bit more not. I don't think ours is particularly deadly or anything, but just to see if there is that scope for the more sort of extreme theme lists where you're saying, no,
Yeah.
actually, this is
Yeah.
purely the third company, whatever, um,
Yeah.
like from the fluff. So that could be quite interesting.
Yeah.
And then some
Yeah.
of my
Because even I mean even the cacophony. I don't think land raiders are even that point sufficient in the game themselves. So you know what I mean?
yeah, I think that's probably a unit that will get addressed in the if they do a reboot, whatever you want to call it. So then I was going to do, because there was a chance that Michael from the podcast was going to make it, although I think he's serves in the army, so he was dubious. But some of his stuff, so there was his, and I think that's like their alternate Eye of Horus account as well. And then they had just a mix of just amazing models on there, like the patterns on those Reaver Titans. I don't know how people do that because I'm crap at it and I can never get it to work properly. But the fact that he's done it on nearly every panel is insane, and it looks brilliant.
Yeah.
And the
That does look stunning and eye catching, doesn't it?
just even like the one there on the right, which has got just the tiny little diamond in the middle. Just
Yeah.
that's crazy, crazy good, far too good. And then the last one for them is just more of the same. So looks like I'm pretty sure Michael's a 3D print addict because obviously they're not full scale tanks. But
Mm.
and I think that's just look great again. Like it's so unfair. There's no justice in the world, as Gary's put it. I hate talented folk.
Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah.
But they
I
look
just yeah.
stunning. Like, and the Imperial fists are brilliant as well. Like, there's nothing wrong with it. Like, you can see the progress there as he's worked through the three photos there. The end result's brilliant
Yeah.
with the weathering and stuff on there.
Is that see the top left? Is that the War Master?
Yeah, it's the War Master. Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, he's gone to town.
Even that, those shin plates. What he's done with the template and that's mad.
Yeah, brilliant to find out
That's
how
stressed out.
how
That's
how he did
stressed
it.
out 3.5 and a half.
Like I don't even know.
What's that?
I don't know how he does that because that's like yeah, like doing a couple of stripes where you use the paper thick, like the tape thickness, and that's all you do. Like he's cut that. Like
Yeah,
I'm not doing that. 'Cause I'll never be able to cut it straight.
yeah. Nah,
That's funny.
nah. I'll go for the simple. That's why I chose. That's why I went full Turum. It was white and black, nice and easy.
Well, mine are just going to be shitty painted anyway, so it doesn't matter as long as they're done. But aye, that's just again, I just think that's brilliant. And I would have liked to have asked a wee bit about the. So I'm moving my mouse over that, like you can see it. I don't think you can. The It's obviously Solar Auxilia, but what's the
Mm-hmm.
epic scene like? Is that something that they've been sort of testing out? Because um, is that sort of skirmish versus grandiose, massive battles again,
Mm-hmm.
like that sort of debate. Um, Epic is probably more fitting for when you reach a certain size in Heresy. Like,
Yeah,
nothing wrong with playing a 10,000 point game if you've got the time, but once you get to sort of, I don't know, there must be a limit 50,000, 100,000, you're never going to be able to play that in a day. And that's where a game like
yeah,
Epic might come in and you'd be like, oh, actually, running those photos there of four Drakazans, three Malkadors, and four Leman Russies in the Storm. Oh, I forget the name of that one. Storm Hammer? Um, in
yeah,
points,
yeah,
that's a lot, but if you're just playing an
yeah.
Epic game, doesn't it matter? You can just play it like that. So yeah, I'm quite envious if that's the print quality he gets as much as anything, but the standard of the paint on them is fantastic.
Yeah,
Um,
you have to find out how he's getting that printer going.
See if I can copy them.
Yours is doing all right, though, is it not?
Some
The
of the stuff.
quality.
So I've got the resin one's not too bad, and I can usually fix that if it starts to go bad. The plastic one's giving me quite a bit of jip just now, and I was really hoping to be able to print some cool stuff for um, well, we may as well talk about it because we've got no Aussies here to our big Titan game,
Mm,
which you can just see the top of a warlord because it doesn't fit in the cabinet, unfortunately, and I need to find an alternative. But doing the big Titan game, which we've got planned, I really would have liked to have made a proper fortress and printed it all and had it all really smart to fight round at the right scale. But that would have taken even if the printer was going well, it'll take sort of 10 hours for a wall section that's not very big. When it's not printing anything, that's infinite time. So yeah, I'm not going to promise that I'm going to have that ready because I just until that thing starts printing, that's not going to happen, which is a shame.
well, how much cornflakes can you eat in the next 8 months?
Well, that's
And still out cornflake boxes and Ludo, it's fine.
it's not to say that we shouldn't do stuff like that, but I was kind of looking at things like are there bricks that you could cut out of foam? Are there sort of you can see it just in the top there. That is a wall section that me and Rachel made for a fortress
Mm,
years ago. Pretty much when we first started going out, she had some spare foam.
yeah,
I had the foam actually. I think the foam was mine, and the sort of the grey covering there is just thin foam board, and we just sort of built it one day for something to do. So it is.
was she trying to win your heart by
She,
building a fortress for you?
yeah, I think so. But she did buy me a warhound, so that was within the first
That
year of going
that
out.
will win your heart then.
Yeah, so it's
Yeah,
yeah, that's definitely she convinced me she was a keeper then. Um, so we could just do that on the sort of. It's all right. I think once it was finished and kind of sprayed or whatever, it could look better. But yeah, we can come up with a option for that. So yeah,
yeah,
we've got
solution.
that's 28 mm Titan game, which we are doing up here, and I think points wise we're at about 2,200 a side, which is not bad for Inverness to be able to muster like 4,400 points of Titans and Knights for a
But
game.
but just to make it clear, that's at AT value.
Yeah, yeah, oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. So
Yeah,
4,000 points
okay.
of 30k Titans, you'd be like, that's three Warhounds, isn't it? You know, we get wowee, 4,000 points of that's a Reaver and a Warhound. Well done. Yeah, so that's I can't remember off the top of my head. I think it's a we currently have an Inverness not built yet, which is why I was motoring on. That's what motivated me to do mine. Three Warlords, um, 3 Reavers,
Yeah.
and I think there was 7 Warhounds and a Warbringer, which I always forget to add in at the scale.
Yeah.
Um, and then there's about 5 or 6 knights as well that are floating about. So yeah, we're quite looking forward to that. But loads of photos and stuff for that, I think, because that's going to be a really interesting game. Hired a hall for the day.
Yeah.
Just get stuck into that
Yeah.
and see how it goes. Um,
And that's in April,
yeah,
isn't
so
it?
plenty of time.
Yeah.
It's quite an interesting. I think in terms of organising events, it's easier to be stricter to your pals. So
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
that was organised, it was quite clear. Like, there's not going to be, if you don't have it built by the deadline, which is Christmas, no, New Year, end of the year, then you just get
Yeah.
kicked out. You're not getting to play, which means then we need to reshuffle the points and all that. But my fear is that thing of where you get to the day before and someone says, "Oh, I've not painted my model or I've not built it yet," and I just don't want to do that. This is meant to
No.
be a really fun, carefree event. So
Mm.
deadline is end of the year, everyone has to be built. End of February, everyone has to be painted and based if you are basing them. Don't have to if you don't, but just if it is. Just so we have an idea at the end of February, are we going to be able to balance the sides? Because I kind of want
Mhm.
to be with this, and I hope you agree. I really don't want to see like Legio Gryphonicus on the traitor side. I just think that's a bit weak. It starts
No.
to really sort of, if you did it and just said, look, we'll play tomorrow. Who cares? Just bring what you've got. We'll make a game of it. Yeah, I think that's fine.
Mhm.
No, it's not 2 months to paint it, Willie. It's you can paint it tomorrow if you want. You can build it tomorrow and paint it tomorrow. You've got until the end of February to paint it. There's no one saying you have to start it on the 2nd of February and have it painted. You can start it tomorrow. Don't you worry. Um, I knew this would be
Stressing out.
this. I'm cancelling this event.
It's more of his hair falling out
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, it's happening again. Yeah. So
now.
piss off with
No,
that.
I totally agree with what you're saying about the sides and that. You know, we're investing a bit of time getting these titans, painting the map, hiring a hall,
Hmm.
making all this terrain to have a big titan clash. I mean, you want to make it narratively and thematically the coolest it can be. So I agree with the deadlines, and I agree with trying to balance the side so it's not Gryphonicus on the traitor side and all this.
Yeah.
You know,
I just think it'll be better, and it'll make a better. The sort of the problems that we're going to find are I would rather deal with them as rules issues. So like
yeah,
having Adeptus Titanicus is clearly not built to be a true multiplayer game. So if me and you were on the same side, and I'm like, well, I need to activate my Titan now, and you say, no, wait a bloody minute, I need to go now, or I'm going to
mhm,
die. There's no mechanism for
yeah,
sorting that, and I think that's the challenge of this game is it's going to be interesting, sort of, to not have the day just turn into 3 turns of a game because everyone's just, I need to do my thing, I need to do my thing first. How best to manage
yeah,
that, and that's where like I've just turned this into an Adeptus Titanicus episode, but the idea that I came up with, which will be interesting to see what the people in the chat think, is
yeah,
um, and I'm not 100% on the mechanism, but I think having only able to communicate with your teammates at the start of the turn, like you get 3 minutes in a corner and you can talk about what you need to do, is going to be a much better system. And then the thing that I wanted to do that might make it even funnier would be that you go off into a corner of the room on your own and you record a message that would be what your objectives are for the turn. So I'd go into a corner, I'd get my phone, and I'd be going, I'm going to shoot my warlord at Richard's Reaver because I want that fucking thing dead. Don't get in my way. And then you go away, and then we all come together, and each side plays theirs all together at the same time, and it's like a Vox scramble where um, you sort of could end up with mixed messages. So I might hear, I need to kill Richard's Titan, but what the person's actually said is, I need you to kill Richard's Titan. And then, so I'm just waiting for them to shoot it. And I'm like shooting all the warhounds over here, ignoring you, and they're counting on my firepower to actually help them. I think that could be quite fun.
Mm.
Funny as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but I think what Stephen said there about having a ranking princeps in charge, like yeah, stuff like that is quite fun. I think that makes um, the the game will flow better. But
Hmm.
it's one of those things where if it's organised well enough in advance to not have to have Kieran the event man or whatever, or Richard the event man, just to be able to just go there, do the thing, and it's a day that we get to enjoy. It's a reward for all the people that have painted their Titans and all that sort of stuff. I think
Yeah.
that could be quite good.
Yeah. I think it's yeah, the Vox thing's quite cool. It's quite thematic. It's sort of what you'd imagine would be happening in that situation in the middle of the fight. Um, I think we'd have to test it out,
Hmm.
um, because I can also see it could be quite messy. People arguing over what they've heard and all that.
I
Um,
think that's where the sort of it's obviously not problem solving it on a live stream, but I
no,
think that's where because the alternative is I can just picture it being who wants to go next, and then
yeah,
I'd be thinking, oh, actually, I'd be better off going quite late in the turn order. So I'm standing there quiet, and nobody says anything because everyone's thinking they want to go late on in the turn order, and that sort of stuff. To just avoid that by having strict time limits per turn and strict communication would be better, but
mm-hmm.
accepting that that can suck the fun out a little bit because if you on turn one get a mixed message from your teammate and you charge forward on your own and no one else does, and then you just get vaporized, it could be a very short ordeal. But
Yeah,
I think there's just
yeah,
something we're not going to get it right, and I think that's the what we were talking about this week about don't aim for perfection if it's
mm-hmm.
going to make you sort of paralyzed and not do anything. Finish
Yeah,
not perfect is a good example of that hashtag where there was a period of time a couple of years ago where people were just hammering out their stuff and to a standard that was acceptable to them, but they weren't
yeah,
sweating it about getting every single detail perfect. And I
yeah,
subscribe massively to that.
yeah,
So that'll be interesting.
yeah,
I think that's the first we've really
yeah.
sort of talked about it, and I know Willie's excited because he's had a Warlord in a box for a year and he's not even dusted it off yet.
Not now. Though. You can't paint it till February the first. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah,
that's that's
exactly.
that's the rule. Yeah.
But
Or sorry, yeah, paint it between whatever.
yeah, so he'll have to get a motor on with that. And then I just see how it goes because it is the sort of thing I would.
Yeah.
If we bought them in March, yeah, right? Got delivered in March, maybe. Bought them ages ago. Um, just to try and get something a bit different as well. I think that could be quite fun.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm
Yeah.
just
Definitely.
occasionally looking over to see if I'm getting any Aussiness, but he's missing his chance. Um, unless I've somehow, I'm pretty sure I said this will be the time here, so I'm when they're 10 hours ahead. Maybe lockdown's got them. Shit, I never thought of that. Maybe they've turned, because I was reading today in Australia that
Mhm.
they're doing like facial recognition apps to leave your house in some of the most heavily affected COVID areas. So maybe he's been arrested. Let's start that rumor.
Yeah.
Tim's in jail. That's
Yeah.
why I wasn't going to
Yeah.
tell you guys that because I felt bad, but actually the truth's come out now. Tim's in jail. Eye of Horus podcast will be coming live next time from jail, and it's Michael's going to go in and visit him with the camera. But we'll start
Yeah.
that rumor now. I have seen Stephen the Forge World win a Titan. Um, I- I've seen some people moaning about it, but it's not a raffle ticket. Like you're not giving Forge World £100 to enter the lottery. You're getting
Yeah.
a free chance to win a Titan. The criticism I've got is that nothing's in bloody stock except their Titans. So you could buy a Warlord Titan and then 2 months later win one, which would be a bit awkward unless you're wanting to run a maniple. Um, but I found that very strange that there was kind of a backlash. It's like a bribe to spend money, but so was the voucher deal, and everyone loved that. So, not convinced there's a big deal.
Yeah. Yeah. Just because it was a little bit less, but Yeah. Where do you think that applies in store? Because I'm about to spend a couple hundred when I go down the road there.
If it doesn't, just order it on your phone to get delivered to the Ford World
I
shop.
yeah, I guess straight away.
Yeah, which will probably turn out that didn't work. Um,
I'm going to ask them that actually.
I guess they won't because it won't be tied to your Warhammer account.
Oh, will they not? Hmm.
They used to make you sign in when I went down
Yeah, on
years
the
ago.
tablets.
Yeah, they'd sign in and you would then,
Yeah.
it'd be logged on your account. But I don't think they do that anymore. Which is,
I'll have to do an order with something that's not in stock.
see, it's working
Hmm.
on you. It's happening. It's happening now. We're seeing it live. You've been, your arm has been twisted. I can see it. It's going up behind your
Manipulated.
back.
What can I do? Nah, I must have. I changed my wish list about 5 times this morning. Uh, so much to buy.
Tell us what's on it because I'm going to say something after and I want to see if I'm wrong.
All right, okay. What's on it right now?
Yeah.
Um, 3 Carnadons for my militia. Sump Croc for my militia general cyber familiar. Decimator Soul Burner because I've been waiting for them to come into stock.
For why?
Because I've got a Decimator for my 40k. That's fine. I've put into my wish list 80 Knight of Trappist and all the 80 today.
Oh yeah, the wee bits.
The wee bits.
Calling it a Trappist. I've never heard that before. I've always called it an Atropos.
Atropos.
I'm not saying you're
Atropos.
wrong. It's interesting. Okay, that's fine. So the reason I
I'm
said
not very good with English.
I wasn't being
I
no,
didn't do very well in English in
half
school,
the
so.
stuff people just say it one way and it might not be that way anyway. Like trying to spell Porphyrion. I always put the I Pori Porphyron or something like that. I was spelling it for ages until I realised that I was spelling it wrong. So the reason I said that is because like I'm actually struggling to think of things I want to buy now, because there's not that many things I would add to the armies I've got. And the things, and I'm a bit of a buy it early doors. So my Necromunda stuff, I've pretty much got all the guns and stuff. Like I bought all that when it came
Yeah.
out, and I was adding as they arrived. The Custodes and Talons, I don't really. Well, they've abandoned Sisters. There's nothing new coming out for them, so there's not really anything in that list I would get. Space Wolves are probably the only thing that could be arm twisted in terms of like keep adding big stupid things. And then the mech, I've not played with the mech yet, so I don't know if they need anything. Um, but yeah, like Gary's just said there, most of the stuff's not available, so it's this
Well, you're just
cycle.
not looking hard enough, are you?
Not trying hard, starting
Do
your
you know what you
army.
could Exactly. Do you know what you could? Do you know what actually? I was actually eyeing up Ultramarines again after I
Ah,
seen the Praetors.
so when funny you say that, right? So that when I was sort of there's something internally with me that was like, when Mark 6 comes out, why don't you do something like an Ultramarines army? Um, and I'm not gonna because I've just bloody emptied that cabinet. I'm not adding more stuff to it. But that is quite an interesting like conundrum that I'm having about the
Mm.
Mark 6 because if you start from that place where all the models are in scale with each other, it doesn't matter. So every Marine would be Mark 6. Every like because they've got their what's the Invictaris or something like that? What they called the axe guys and the shield guys?
The Suzerains.
What they're called? What the other one? What's Invictaris? Now it's made that up.
They've got a Locust Taurus.
Ah,
Where's
yeah,
James? We need James here.
yeah, I must have just made that up. Anyway, the guys that have got the bulky armor and the sword, the axe and the shield,
The Axe and the Shield. Yeah,
they're
this.
big
I'm sure
models.
they're
They're
Suzerains.
bulky. They are big, so they
Mm-hmm.
would fit that scale.
Mm-hmm.
And then the um, So he's actually seen this message, so it'll be interesting to see if Tim will actually appear. Oh, there we go. So I've been saved. Finn has saved me. They are called something like Invictus Suzerains in the full name.
Okay, so we're both half right.
Yeah, half a point each. But like that sort of, there was something that sort of stood out to me there of being maybe you could, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Not. I think much like oh yeah, I can see typing now. He's typing to me, much like the guys on
I'm in jail.
the I'm in jail. Please send help. Um, in the so he's got the times have been mixed up by the looks of it. Hold on, I'll even reply. So I don't know. I think getting a new I'll just say fire on when ready. Why not? We'll get an hour of just ripping the piss at him and me maybe. I'm
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it's not me, because they told me they were 10 hours ahead, and it's not the way I would have expected that to be. But maybe I've done something wrong. Um, Morse code, send help in jail. Prisoner cell block H, yes! Oh my god, you're showing your age there, Willie, you old man. And I said yes too enthusiastically, so now people know that we're the same age. So, I don't know. I think I could see there being a temptation there, especially if a plastic Spartan or something like that's in that box. But
Yeah.
yeah, we'll see. But I wouldn't do it if you were doing them. Not sure we've tried the World Eaters. You gave up first. I held on for 4 years, and then mine are about to go.
Yeah, but that was different times.
Happier
that was real
times.
life things.
Happier
No,
times.
not happier times. Not happier times. I had to sail, so it wasn't happy. But yeah, I was eyeing the map, the Ultramarines. And I was what I was going to say actually. There is something you don't have for your Space Wolves, I think, and it was on my wish list to buy a second one of,
Well,
but then I took it off.
it's not going to be a Mastodon or something, then, is it?
You don't have any assault drills. You don't
I
have any
don't.
termites.
I don't. And
No.
actually, that is something that has sort of jumped in and out of my thoughts. So, because you can just see on the edge there, I've got so many drop pods, and I've never used that drop pod list. So, um, I think that's the it would be possible, but I think I'd get more bang for my buck out of doing drop pods. I think because of the sort of I've got like 4 normal ones, 1 Death Storm, 2 Dreadclaws, and 3 Dreadnought drop pods. Um, so that sort of could put 2 in or something like that and just add that. I think you can have them in that list. Can you have them in the drop pod list?
I think you can. Yes,
Because then
because
you get
yeah,
them and you get your
yeah,
drop pods.
it specifically states they don't count as the same thing. So yeah, would get both, which is so cheeky. I'm
I
actually
think
going to
that's
check.
weird. Like it is weird. Very strange. Um, I don't think I've got. And then if they're in book 9, I can look it up live if you want the answer. But if they're in book 8, you've got no chance.
No, definitely. Definitely, they come in as separate entities. It specifically states that.
Ah, okay. Well, you.
So you would have half of your termites and half of your drop pods coming sort of together. Do you know what I mean?
I
Like
see.
your termites would come in, then your drop pods would come in.
And I find that strange. And
So,
I guess it's to encourage sort of, I don't know, Alpha Strike, we'll call it. But it's a very odd like interaction between the two. So
I'm just wondering if you can put them in the drop pod list because of the restrictions, which I think you probably could because I think the restriction is you have to deep strike, which their rule is deep strike, but I'm wondering if
It might say
there's a
something about
limitation on
only,
tanks.
yeah, or it might say, yeah, there'll be something like that, or it will say can only units are need to be blah blah blah. Like the one that we were talking about a while ago with the interpretation
Oh
of
yeah.
like, so someone sent a list in for the event and wanted some feedback, and it was very odd the way you worked through it because it was kind of the way it worked. It suggested that you could have the termite in the list, but no unit could go inside it because the wording of the Right of War specifically said the unit had to be able to deep strike, and deep
Mm-hmm.
strike is as it's written does not confer onto the unit. So the
Mm-hmm.
termite deep strikes, but the unit inside don't deep strike, and that was sort of one of the really odd interactions that we were kind of. I love them because it sort of gets you to dig out the rules and go through them all and have a head scratch. But yeah, it's sort of hard giving someone an answer when they maybe have their heart set on this beautiful list, and then along comes big bad Kieran, who has to tell you no. Yeah,
But the thing with that as well, remember, was the other part of that was if a unit couldn't deep strike, it had to come in on a
flying,
flyer,
yeah, flyer.
which the termite wasn't a flyer.
Yeah,
So yeah, you sort of really had to break that down
yeah. And
and
I think
work it out
that is a
really.
flaw in the game that it won't. I guarantee that won't be fixed in new edition or new rules, but it will just be copy pasted. But it is a very because it's a run-on sentence. It's kind of hard to like.
Mm,
It's not like BODMAS where you can like teach yourself how to do maths when there's no brackets. It's very sort of like because you could just because the sentence runs from left to right, you could say, okay, so I'm not coming in on a flyer, but I'm coming in on a deep
mm,
strike, and like that sort of argument is very difficult to.
yeah.
It's all semantics, isn't it?
So I've got the right award for orbital assault up here.
Okay.
So it looks limitate. Just going over the limitations, because that's really what we're talking about here. Units that cannot be deployed via deep strike, either by having access to the special rule themselves or because they cannot be carried in a transport vehicle that has it, may not be chosen as part of the army. You may not take a fortification allied detachment. All units purchased dedicated transports in this army must begin the game transported within them. So by the looks of it, you can use termites
And I kind of
with the
see.
drop pod.
I think it's a unit that it's it adds something to the game, but it like bulldozes its way in like a termite. It bulldozes its way through the rules. Because like the whole
Mm.
point of armor, that sort of assault, is there's a strike cruiser in orbit. Everyone jumps in and they boof down to the surface. So where'd the termite come
Yeah,
from? Like the termite's like
yeah,
been fired from orbit.
yeah. I mean, that's what we sort of discussed, wasn't it, when we're going over that list? It's not exact. Like you could run the termite in the orbital assault, but is it
Does it fit?
running the
Yeah.
theme of that list
And I
or
do,
narrative?
I,
No.
I do like the unofficial Mancometer trademark that I run everything through, which is just me looking at the lists. That probably does factor into your score if the person wasn't malicious, like they were quite upfront. They said, "I'm not sure. I've had feedback, and I'd like your thoughts." But if someone
Yeah,
found that loophole, like spitefully, let's say, and they argued the toss about it, I'm very much an enabling person, and I think that comes from my work where we basically can have our arm twisted at every turn to help people. I probably would say,
mm-hmm.
okay, but that then is going to add to your Manx score in my head because I'll be thinking, you're doing this because you want to have your 10 multi-meltas inside a termite that will land where you want them, and there's very little that can stop it. And that's
Yeah.
where my brain kind of goes. But I don't know. We'll have to see what some of these lists. We will probably do a show with all the lists. So if you are coming and you're in the chat, then be prepared that you might be discussed about the.
Whilst you're saying that, actually, I was going to speak to you offline about it, but why not see what the guys in the chat think? Because the event will be what, second week weekend in November. So is it where we could do a list show in the normal slot of this the weekend before? So I don't know if the guys are interested in that.
It's not going to be Mankless bashing. It's going to be
just going over the lists.
It's just going to be a chant, and maybe there will be some eyebrows raised, but there won't be like I'm not that sort of person. I wouldn't like. I would be comfortable sort of showing my workings almost. I'm not bothered about that. That doesn't faze me because I'm the one that's making those decisions. But sort of, it would show. What would that date be? I'll even look that up so I can tell you right now. So it would just be the weekend before because it's the 13th, 14th, so it'd be on the 5th of November. Remember the 5th of November. The day that people ask for a refund for their ticket because they got blasted on the podcast before the week before the event. People fall out with us. No refunds at that point. But so that's sort of like the ability to just do it. Like, why not? It could be quite fun.
I love those things in like podcasts and shows.
I think
and I was going to do it for my fantasy event. Yeah, I like their one as well. I was going to do it for my fantasy event, and the guys were quite hyped for it, like very hyped, going over lists and all that before it. And I think it adds a sort of a wee bit of excitement.
I think it just gives a chance to sort of see what you're up against as well.
Yeah.
Oh, he's just come on to Discord now. So what we'll probably do... Oh, he's even jumped in. He's in the right place. I was about to say we'll take a break, but he's straight in. He's not mucking about. If he appears.
Yeah.
Hello. Nice there. Okay, you don't have to be on camera, Tim, if you're feeling particularly groggy this morning.
Oh, no. Australia, mate. Just, grab a kangaroo, get us to lick me awake. I'm all good. I don't know how to... Oh, I can see cameras and stuff here. Ooh.
If you hit the camera icon, your beautiful mug will appear.
Alongside ours, obviously.
Yeah.
We're all beautiful.
I don't know what you're going to see.
Well, please be careful. I don't want this account banned.
Oh, is it working?
You've not appeared yet.
Oh, just black.
Oh, no way. What's going on? Going on?
At least you're here. So I don't know what happened. Either my maths is terrible or the world has shifted time zones, but we're glad that you've come along. We've been buying.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry.
We've been.
Yeah. Oh, damn. Yeah, I'm not sure. Maybe it's my it's some Rod style time science or something. Why isn't my screen working? No, work. I'll try turning my screen off and turning it back on. That's a good trick.
This is going to be. If you're in the nude, then, or
no. Don't worry about that.
As Willie has beautifully put it, there wouldn't be a Heresy.Scotcast without there being technical issues. So
yeah,
that's
why it worked first time we came on. That's why.
Okay. I probably just need to look at my settings here.
You've not appeared.
I can see it coming up there.
Let me check what happens if I go into Discord. I can disable
you. Just get paint out and draw a picture.
Yeah, it's true. If Rachel was here, she could have just drawn a wee picture.
Yeah, that'll do.
I've definitely not disabled your video, so it's not me.
Yeah.
Do you want to? Shall we just cut for a break and then see if we can figure this out?
Yeah, we can do that for.
Yeah.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, there we go.
It
just appeared. There he is.
It is nighttime. Oh, it's nighttime. Well, it's always nighttime in my garage with the door shut and everything like that.
Is that where you get exiled?
Yeah, that's right. See, we've got the Garrett V. We auctioned off the naming rights for my garage / recording studio.
Yeah.
So it's called the Garrett V. Lowe Memorial Studio, even though the dude Garrett V. Lowe is not actually dead or anything. Michael just decided that's what it would be called. The
Oh,
Memorial Studio, yeah.
we've already had the first racist comment in where Stephen, we know some of these usernames who said prisoner cell block H would have been the name they would have picked. That's very aggressive. So they've already started offending you, and you've only just arrived.
Oh, no, that's right. Australians are easily... Wait, no, the opposite. We're easily not offended. There you go. That's a good setting. That's a good saying there.
Have you locked yourself into the garage because COVID has now taken over Australia and he's gone bloody now?
Yeah,
the government
sorry.
listening in, because I was about to say the government have let you down with COVID that you've had to lock yourself in the garage and
No.
went all bloody.
No, not in Queensland. So, yeah, I'm in the good part of the country where we can wash our hands and shit. Whereas, the rest of the state, the southern states, New South Wales, Victoria, blah, can't wash their hands. Don't know what they're doing down there. Crazy people.
Cut them loose.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can.
You're fine.
It's kinda
Don't worry
weird.
about it. It's just
Okay.
blurry in Australia.
You guys, it's like bright as fuck over there. You guys have got lights on, all sorts of shit.
Yeah, it's dark outside here. It's 10 o'clock at night in the past.
Yeah, turned it off. You didn't see me.
It's good.
10 o'clock at night. It's only just getting dark, isn't it?
Yeah, it's because we're both up in Inverness in Scotland, so it stays light quite late. But it's good to know that the sun is going to rise tomorrow. Since you're our pioneer out there.
Yeah, no, I did see some sun on my way between the bedroom and the garage. But yeah, I've been over to Scotland. I went over to the UK in 2006.
Okay.
And yeah, and it just fucking blew my mind that it would be like 10 o'clock at night and it's still day outside. And you look outside and it's still fucking sunlight. What the hell's going on?
It's cause we drink into the wee hours, so we drink all summer long, so the sun stays out a bit longer, so you can make your way.
Ah, right. Very nice. Good work, son.
So where were you in Scotland?
Just up to Edinburgh. And that's pretty. We went a little bit further, I think, to Perth. Is that a place over there?
Yes, that's a place.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. My family's from like the Mingus clan. We pronounce it Menzies over here, mate. Fucking Menzies.
You are on the ball. Have you done your research so that you don't offend the Scottish audience?
No, I'm part Scottish. Part Scottish, part like Australian bushranger, mate.
We had a shop here, which you might have actually, because you've still got Woolworths and we don't anymore. John Menzies was a shop here, and everyone called it Menzies here, but it would be Mingus technically. So maybe you've got them over there.
Is it named after the Australian Prime Minister? Is that it?
Is that his
name?
They
used to call it. Yeah, so we had a Prime Minister over here called John Menzies, but his nickname was Ming the Merciless. I don't know. Don't think he was actually that merciless, but yeah. Maybe in a bullshit like political sense, you know. It's so hard to vote against that guy.
You tend to have your ones stick around quite a while. Your prime ministers, you have to kind of crowbar them out, don't you?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah. I think we had one for forever. It's like Angela Merkel. Can't get rid of him, man.
We'll start a politics show instead. What we will do, I'm pretty sure Richard is like me, and we're both bursting for the toilet, so we need a 2-minute break, and then we will get stuck in. And what we'll do is we'll pretend that we didn't say anything for the first hour, and we'll ask you all the questions we've got lined up, and then we'll put you to the test. We've got a quiz for you.
Oh shit! Okay,
so you better be prepared. Richard's hosting that. I don't know if there's points.
Well, for both of you.
I've only ever been in one Heresy quiz before, and we had this total brainiac dude who just went we were it said one of the questions was list all the legions and their homeworlds, and Michael and I were in this group and we were like, oh fuck, but this other guy was just like, okay, number 1, and just wrote out all 20 of them. Oh, sorry, not 20, obviously, 18. Oh shh. He wrote out all 18 with their homeworlds, and we were just sitting there going, "Holy fuck!" And that's pretty much why we won, because we had this shout out to Nate, just smashed it out. And we were like, "What?"
think I
Good
could
work.
do 10.
Writing coattails.
I'm not sure I'd be able to do more than 10.
All I
think you're
remember
both
is
overhyping
Imperial
this,
Fist
by the
and
way.
Inwit because it's like nit. I always think nitwit whenever I say Inwit. There's Imperial Fist nitwits.
Space Wolves Fenris, because that's my army. I get it. Okay, so we'll do a quick. We'll speed through it because you've been nice enough to join us, and I don't want to keep you waiting. We'll have a very speedy pee break, and
No,
then
no,
we're
no,
going to
that's
get
fine. No,
started.
no, no. Take your time. Take your time.
No, no, it'll
Gotta
be
do your
fine.
piss.
Get
Gotta do your big mammal piss. Like all mammals like piss in 21 seconds. Like doesn't matter
Is
how
that
big they are. Like if
this
you're
is
a rhinoceros, 21-second piss. If you're a human, 21-second piss.
this is
So
very educational. I'm
this
going
is
This
this is
is
why I
this is a
know
great educational show. This.
this is why I know that Space Marines have huge dicks because like Space Marines being a mammal, you can say it. Can you say dick on Twitch? I don't know. Sorry, if you can. All right.
It doesn't
So
matter.
because Space Marines are a mammal, they have to do a 21-second piss just like all other mammals, which means that like to do a 21-second piss and being a huge Space Marine, they'd have to have a huge dick to get all that water out or
Well,
water,
my
whatever Space Marines are pissing, acid or something.
my wife deliberately says things to annoy me about the hobby, and one of the things that she likes to remind me is that I once told her that Space Marines essentially recycle the nutrients, and she says, so they eat their own shit. And I was like, I guess. So I guess Space Marines may drink their own piss, which might explain why they can piss in 21 seconds. Anyway,
Yeah.
we'll be
Yeah.
back
All right.
in. So yeah, just hang on a minute, and I'll be back, and then we'll.
Yeah, I'll check my. I was trying to think of what was the thing before Facebook? MySpace. Ah, damn, fucked it. I was going to say I'll check my MySpace. But...
Bebo. Right, we'll be back shortly.
People.
Okay, so hopefully we're back. Hopefully you can still hear us all. Usually you can hear me, so I'm the worst example. So Tim or Richard, say something horrible, and we'll see if
Hello.
anyone can hear you.
Hopefully you can hear us.
Hello,
Yeah.
hello.
And we're getting criticised for the length of our
Yeah.
piss time. I was about 23 seconds. I'll have you know. I'm not sure if we want to compare pissies, but that's okay. So we'll go back to the start. So all that shit we've just said over the last hour, ignore that. That was just technical
We're going
filler.
to redo that.
Yeah, we'll just
Yeah, sorry. I don't
All
know.
again.
It wasn't
I
your
don't know
fault.
how time works either, but
I
yeah,
don't think it
sorry.
was your fault, but that's okay. So we're very glad you've come along, and yeah, we're going to grill you for the next wee while, and hopefully you've got a bit of time for us to milk you on a Sunday morning.
Yeah. Milk away. That's a super sinister fucking milk you on a Sunday morning.
Yeah,
Jesus.
that's
It's like something
a song, like Carly Simon's
Yeah.
song or something like that. So
Yeah.
just a chance to,
Yeah.
because I
Maybe.
mean, most people will know your podcast, will know you, will know, at least maybe not the face, but they'll know the sound of your voice. So it's a chance for us to sort of, well, free advertising for you and free advertising for us. But
Yeah, I need to get these numbers up in Scotland, man. Like fucking don't have a good enough don't have anyone with like a Scottish accent on our show, so numbers are just like
yeah, exactly. That's it. No,
people
no
want to hear
listening.
like people want to hear like fucking wee bands and shit like that. People saying like just shit out of what's that movie? Fucking Brave? Yeah, that's the shit.
I forgot to say Braveheart. Brave is slightly more
Oh,
accurate.
Braveheart, yeah, even better. Yeah. I was actually telling people last night we were playing a game of Company of Heroes, and this is a weird story that just like happens to like work with both podcasts and also playing Company of Heroes. I like really needed to piss during this game of Company of Heroes last night, and then everyone was just like giving me shit, and I'm like, no, I can't get away from the keyboard. I've got to keep moving troops up and like bombarding and shit, whatever the fuck you do in that game. And then I was telling them a story about when I went to see Braveheart in the cinemas over here. I needed about an hour in. I was just like, oh fuck, I need to piss, and I was like, oh I can't. This is the greatest fucking movie I've ever seen. So I just like had to like sit through it, and I didn't realize how fucking long it went because it goes for like 3 hours or
It's
some
3 hours.
shit. Well, 1 hour in, I just needed to piss like a motherfucker, and I was just sitting there just watching it. My dad took me to see it, and I was just like, oh fuck, I really need to piss. And then I was like borderline hallucinating, like, oh man, if I was William Wallace at Battle of fucking whatever
Go on,
bridge.
tell us what battle it was.
Uh,
Have a guess.
I usually do know this because isn't there two? There was two battles there, right? There was a Viking battle there as well. Maybe I'm wrong.
I don't
But
believe
whatever.
that's
What? Oh no. Yeah, I think there was. Anyway, doesn't matter. But yeah, I was just like, I would just piss on the floor. I'd just piss on the ground if I was William Wallace. Yeah. So
in
there you
21
go.
seconds.
There's a Scottish story. Yeah, and do my 21-second piss and keep fighting the English. Yeah.
So unfortunately the only equivalent hero that we've got is Crocodile Dundee. So I'm not sure who have you got that's sort of cool?
All there is, man.
I mean,
Crocodile Dundee.
No, one was taken away from us too early.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Steve Owen.
Steve Irwin.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Probably
Yeah,
Come
Steve Owen's in Queensland, the good state where we wash our hands. And well, he was obviously. But before he was famous because he got that Crocodile Hunter TV show and became famous. But before that, I think his father started just like a crocodile farm. Which for anyone who has never been to a crocodile farm, it's just like a whole bunch of pits in the ground with crocodiles in them, just muddy water sort of thing. And you just throw carcasses of animals into these giant fucking dinosaur things. But that's just up north. That's just near where we live. So back in the 90s, before he was famous, you could go there, and it was just like super fucking dodgy, man. Like it's the dodgiest fucking shit ever. Like it was just all pits in the ground, and oh, will I get fucking sued? I don't know if I can sue. Whatever. I used to work for a law firm, and they had a whole bunch of cases against his dinosaur part.
Tiger King was actually Crocodile King in the 90s.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Let's just say they had a volunteer program that was more like,
Assisted suicide.
Yeah. It was extreme. Let's just say people didn't have a good time. Let's just say volunteers did not have a good time.
So here we go. Yeah, fucking Carol fucking Baskin, someone just said in the comments there. So that Steve fucking Irwin's
I don't want to defame him, it's Australia, so we're allowed to say shit like that. He's got there's all these statues over here of him as well. That's the craziest thing. Like, you go to his park, if you want to get a photo of him, of you and your family with the Steve Irwin statue with him, of Steve Irwin and Steve Irwin's family.
Yeah.
It's like $25 to get like a picture with
a
the
statue.
Yeah, at his park. Yeah, crazy shit, man. It's fucking crazy shit. And there's another statue. I was just at like is it Maroochydore or Mooloolaba? One of those places just up north in Sunshine Coast. And there's a statue of him there as well. I thought all the statues were just at his Crocodile Park, but no, there's other statues. There's like public statues of just like Steve Irwin. It's pretty fun.
Kind of go in Australia. It goes, the Queen is like the top.
Yeah, obviously.
Second place is Steve Irwin.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, it's getting like that. In terms of statues, probably. Yeah.
Is it in Australia that you can ask for a picture of the Queen and you get it posted, or is that Canada? I'm sure there was something I read once that you can write to like some sort of.
I think that was anywhere in the Commonwealth. Like, I think you could just anywhere in the Empire. Surely you could just get a picture sent to you.
As you do.
They didn't do that in Scotland. You didn't have to send for a picture of the Queen in Scotland.
I'm sure we could find one. It's not something that I've got in the house anywhere, unfortunately. I did move last year. Maybe I lost it in the move and it didn't make it.
Yeah. At Eye Height, etc. Yeah.
Anyway, that was a brilliant tangent. You're just trying to avoid
answer
important heresy questions. But
I've got another Steve Irwin story though. If you want, do you want another Steve Irwin story?
Another Steve Irwin story.
Okay. So back in the 90s when we used to go, have you ever been to like where they threw like a whole chicken into like a giant crocodile's mouth and it goes destroys it? Have you ever seen it?
Do you know what? When I was in Florida, I was at an alligator park.
Yeah, I've been to one
so
of them.
I imagine it's the same.
Yeah, same thing. Only in America, they probably fucking put a firework in the chicken before they threw it in its mouth or something, right?
What?
I don't know. Just Americans.
Yeah. Probably shoot it before they give it any food.
Yeah, but since we can't fucking blow shit up with fireworks over here, one of the things that we'll do is just go and watch like someone throw some meat into a crocodile's mouth. Mm-hmm. So they've at his thing now. They've got this. They've got a thing called. Shit. So
Are you going to get litigated? Are you in danger of being put in?
No, definitely not. I just want to tell you guys that at the it's called Australia Zoo. They have these giant like pits full of water with crocodiles in them, and then built around it, they have a thing called the Crocoseum, and it's like it's seating for like just like hundreds of people. So literally, it's like all these fucking like. You know, like at Wimbledon or some shit like that. I don't know. What do you guys have what's the famous Scottish tennis courts? You must have like
a tennis court. We've got fuck all. That's like Andy Murray went to Spain to train. He never actually learned anything in Scotland.
Shit. No wonder you guys want to join the EU. Jesus. Okay. So anyway, so now that's what they do, right? They've got this thing called the Crocoseum, where hundreds of people just like, whoa, crocodiles, yeah. But back in the day, it was just like he'd just walk around with an ice cream container with some chicken in it and just throw it and sling it into their mouths and stuff. And so Steve Irwin was doing like this is in the 90s, this is before he's famous and everything. It's just like Australian dude in shorts and stuff. And we're all just like obviously Australian dudes in shorts and fucking t-shirts just walking around all these fucking crocodiles everywhere. So we went he had this whole like super poisonous snake section. So he's just like, it's like, you know, this long fucking, I don't know, brick thing with glass fronts, and all inside the glass is all these snakes, like hundreds of snakes.
Yeah.
So he's just walking along like, going like, you know, this is the inland taipan. It can bite you, and before you even realize you've been bitten, you're fucking dead, and all that sort of shit. And like this is the such and such, like it, whatever. It can fucking fly into outer space and fucking bite you even if you're up there. Just telling all the stories about all the shit, and then so he gets to one, and he's like, "This is the I can never fucking remember that. My mum remembers it, and you'll find out why in a second. It's called like I think it was a collet snake or some shit like that. Anyway, it's some super, because out of the top fucking 20 poisonous snakes in the world, like Australia has like 18 of them or something like that. So every single one is fucking dangerous. So obviously, just don't go fucking his snakes, like number one. But he has to keep like amping up the story because fucking there's so many poisonous snakes. You can't just be like, this one's poisonous, obviously this one's poisonous. It's like, this one will fucking kill a fucking elephant. If there was like fucking 500 elephants in the room and they all shared the same bloodstream and this snake fucking bit one, like fucking 45 would die, and just like shit like that. So just like, don't think about that too much, by the way. And so anyway, we get to the snake and he's got this mouse and he's just feeding them with like tongs, like barbecue tongs. And just with a bucket of dead mice that he just grabs and just hurls into their thing, just throws it into them. But he was just fucking with this snake. He had like the mouse in tongs, just like dangling it around, just like, come on, get it. By the way, this guy can fucking bite like an eel on one side of the country and an eel on the other side of the country will die. It's so powerful and shit like that. And so then he's sort of dangling around, and the snake just goes like, "Oh, I'll get this fucking mouse." And as it does that, it just knocks all these rocks into the track. The glass doors are all in tracks, like sliding doors. So it just knocks all these rocks in there. So then he can't close it, and the snake's just like, "Okay, fuck the mouse. Look at all these people here. I'm just gonna go." So fucking just move towards them. So my brother and I, because we're the only kids there, because this is an adult activity, watching mostly just like feeding fucking giant snakes and shit. We were the only kids there, so we were right at the front, and this snake's just literally like fucking like a foot away from us, just going, just lazily grabbing at my brother and I. My mom's just like, "Holy shit!" Just starts like dragging us back, and Steve Owen's just like, "Oh," and he didn't even notice. He's just telling such fucking bullshit stories. He didn't even realize that this snake is just like hanging out, just like just waving around, fucking biting at shit while he talks about how fucking dangerous it is. So I'm just like, holy shit! And then he managed to just like beat it back with tongs and like just like, dude, get back in the fucking cage, you dumb snake! And then just like, clear the fucking thing and go, okay, so that was fucking moments from disaster. Anyway, so the next snake, holy shit, when do you see this one? Blah. Like, holy shit.
So there's
my mom's always just like, he's a loose cannon, that Steve Owen.
It's like, so the way you've described that, either the 90s in Australia was a very odd place where like adults would gather round the snakes to watch them be fed. That was like the Saturday afternoon. No football, no rugby or anything, cricket, any of that shit. We're going to the snake park. We're going to the crocodile park to watch the snake man nearly kill some children. And only adults are allowed.
There was cricket and rugby involved, obviously. This is in between the cricket and the rugby, but sneak out.
Off season.
We just sneak out like, okay, cricket doesn't start for like 8 more hours. We've got time to get in the car, drive an hour north, and go to this reptile park. Yeah.
I think that the chat will probably prefer to hear you tell stories about Steve Irwin than have us talk to you about Heresy. Because that's one of the best stories I've heard. It usually takes them about 10 seconds to catch up, so I'll let you know what they say. So we were listing things.
That's all my stories anyway. That's all my Australian stories.
That's no more. You've got nothing else in the tank saved up.
No, so everything else is just petty crime and stuff,
We'll share those. Share that. Working in. Do you have Game in Australia? Game, the computer game shop, video game shop, whatever you call them.
No, you mean like GameStop or something?
No, so ours are just called Game. It used to be Electronics Boutique, and then it became
Game. Oh yeah. Ours is still called Electronics Boutique.
So I worked for them for a while. That was an interesting job when you're talking about petty crime. Anyway, we'll leave that so I don't get. Definitely will get a police visit if I carry on that story. So I was looking at things that we've got in common. So we've got AC/DC in common because the guy was born in Scotland. And in
powerful.
We like to see the English lose at sports. That's something that we've got in common.
Yeah, fucking oath, mate.
There's quite a lot of English people come to our events, so hopefully they're not watching the stream. And then drinking, generally, carnage. Watching people get bitten by snakes. These are all things that we've kind of got in common.
Yeah. That's right.
But if
Drinking, yeah.
drinking, yeah. So we know who you are, and I'm sure the people in the chat know who you are. But give us a wee summary. So, Tim, how long have you?
Do you know who you are? Like,
Uh,
fuck, no, I don't know. I don't think so.
You don't know us, but we'll ask you. How long
Yeah.
have you been?
If you're an Eye of Horus, if you're an Eye of Horus listener, I'm just a paid actor. Who I don't want to say Michael and Tim, Michael slash Tim, have hired to come and do like appearances. That's just some trivia for people who watch the show.
Just in case
But
Steve Irwin comes back from the grave.
Yeah,
to finish you
exactly.
off.
Yeah, exactly. And it is Australia, so I wouldn't say that couldn't happen.
So come on, how long have you been in the hobby, in the Games Workshop hobby, or just wargaming,
Games
whatever?
Workshop hobby. Yeah. So probably the mid to late 90s, I guess. Like second ed was definitely most of the books. Right. I think I started playing second. The first White Dwarf I ever bought had Angels was the Angels of Death Codex one.
Okay.
Where it had all those fucking sweet Dark Angels pictures.
Yeah.
I think. Oh, was it? But I think was it? Yeah, no, because I know the first White Dwarf I bought had the Eversaw and the Hellhound tank in it. So maybe it was the first. Maybe the second episode, the second one I got had the Dark Angels, and then basically back in those days they'd just copy and paste like a whole bunch of the fluff from the book and just like put in White Dwarf. Here's some fucking cool shit.
So you're.
And then remember that the whole thing came out and there was like 4 new models. Like, whoa, holy shit.
You're as old as me then. I'm 36. I started when I was 9, so that'll be around the same time. Richard's.
Yeah. I'm older. I'm 40, and I started later in the thing. Like I didn't. Like I was just all I did is just read like World War II books and shit like that, just history books and stuff. And I used to do like 1/35th modeling, just like just Nazi tanks basically. Like how many fucking need to get some Nazi tanks? Yeah, fucking 13-year-old boy. I need those Nazi tanks.
Airfix? You get any like planes and stuff?
No, it was Tamiya. Yeah, Tamiya was the number one. There was Airfix. Yeah, Airfix is the thing.
So but, Richard's a wee baby face compared to us. He's like, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm like 31.
31, whatever.
Jesus, how's Pokemon and stuff?
Fortnite.
how's Dragon Balls and Pokemon?
So he looks older than he is just because he is the toad of the group. So that ages you. When you play Mankey, it kind of makes you look older than you are as well. So just have to watch that. Okay, so
no way, I still get ID. I still get charged for ID at Tesco's.
Yeah, but you only need like a sniff of a drink and you're wasted anyway, so it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, they probably know.
So when did you get into the heresy then? Let's try and circle into the topic at hand. When did you pick it up?
Okay, probably like a year after it started, I guess. Like I think so I'd read the book. So our friend Danny had the book like when it first came out, like he bought it like on, I don't know, if they had pre-release back then, I guess they did, right? And then he showed it to us at like we were playing at this big event thing that was like 40k and fantasy. Okay. Because we were playing fantasy, we played Warhammer Fantasy Battle. I did play a little bit of 40k, but I rage quit when the what was it? The 7th Ed Necron Codex, where they put all the formations in and everything was Decurion, and
that was right at the end of 7th. I think that's what kind of like the tail end.
My mate and I both had Necron armies, and we were like, "Oh, we can both make a Decurion. Let's have a Decurion versus Decurion battle." And we just shot like, and then just like nothing dies. Like, what the fuck? This is bullshit. And then it was just the most annoying fucking game. And we just went, no, don't like the way this is. Fucking rage quitting. So then we only played fantasy. And then, so we ran into Danny, and he was just like, check this fucking thing out. And we're like, what the hell? It's like this huge fucking black book. And then I was just like sitting on the floor, just like reading through it, going, holy shit, this is fucking amazing! And then I think when the second book came out, we started sort of getting armies and stuff. And then a guy here, John Sutton from Painting Bunker, shout out to the paintingbunker.com. He just advertised an event, which, as far as I can tell, is the first Heresy event anywhere in the world. No one's challenged me on that yet. But it just happened to be in our city, Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. And so Michael and I were just like, let's fucking go. We've got armies. Like, he had Imperial Fists, and I've got Mechanicum.
Okay.
And we went, and there was a whole bunch of people that we knew there. And then we were like, fuck, this is awesome. We should do a podcast. We've always been talking about doing podcasts because we'd listen to, back when we lived together, we used to listen to all the conspiracy theory podcasts and shit like that. And just be like, whoa, holy fuck, can you fucking believe this? We're just like, we'd literally just sit on the couch, just playing Xbox, and then just be listening to fucking insane conspiracy theory shit, just going whoa, we should fucking totally do a podcast. And then be like, oh, but no, what would we do it about? We've got nothing to do it about. And then we just walk over and walk to our lounge room and just play stop playing Warhammer Fantasy for hours and hours and have all our friends around and play Fantasy. And we just didn't think of doing it for that for some reason. And we used to listen to fantasy podcasts as well. And then we after the Heresy thing, we were like, let's just start a fucking Heresy podcast. We were super jazzed about it. And then I looked, and there was no Heresy podcast. And I was like, whoa, fuck yeah, we're going to do it. And then, by the time we started doing it, I don't know, a few months later or 6 months later or whatever, I was just like, time to upload an episode. And then by the time I went to upload the episode, there was already another podcast, the Imperial Truth podcast. So we went the first one. The Imperial Truth podcast was the first one. But yeah, in between when we were like, yeah, let's do it. And I checked and there was none. It was going to be the world's first Horus Heresy podcast. But yeah, no. Fucking got in before we could get it up onto the internet.
You should have put it on anyway. You should just put that straight on. Just claim that and just put it on the thing.
Put your foot down and claim it.
Yeah. So
since we've got some other podcasts, like a Necromunda one, and sometimes I just call it the best Necromunda podcast, or the Titanicus one. I just say it anyway, Why not?
What we do is, or what I do, and whether Richard or anyone else likes it or not, is I always ask some extreme questions.
Okay.
Guests. So this is very important that you answer this as accurately as possible.
Yeah, okay.
If you were a smell, what smell would you be?
That's a tough one. I probably smell like fucking, what's this shit called? White Spirit.
That's okay. I've got nothing to say to that. Okay. And
sorry. I put my headphones in. Sorry. Yeah, I'd probably smell like this stuff because I fucking use this stuff so much. And my wife's always just going holy shit, you smell like insane chemicals.
That's an acceptable answer. There's no wrong answers in this. And
in my garage, I paint in my garage as well, and so I'll be in here editing something.
If you were a number, what number would you be?
Not sure. Maybe 100.
Why?
100. Hundo, man.
Just because
makes sense.
The percent.
Yeah, exactly. 100%.
Okay,
that's probably the number I say so much because I'm always going 100%, 100%.
There's no wrong answer in this game, so don't worry about it. I can see there's a few
comments.
You're
just trying to crack my passwords? This is just to try and crack my
what's your
social media passwords?
What's your mum's maiden name?
What was the name of the street you grew up on?
I never thought of that. So a couple of comments are coming in here. Lots of people are, Gary is very keen on your fantasy love. Someone else has pointed out that the cocaine-fueled Elder Codex in 7th edition finished it off. And then Anvil's a Code has said, why is Haley Joel Osment's America's Forgotten Sweetheart? Which is a difficult question.
Well, Jack's just a fucking shit-stirring Englishman. No, so
he's left.
Oh, has he? Has he left?
I'm not sure.
Fucking Haley Joel. Have you ever seen that guy? Do you know who that is?
He is in, as a child, was in several films. Yes.
This is pod racing. It's that kid, isn't it? Is it that kid? No, it's not. No, it's I See Dead People. It's I See Dead People. Yes. Yeah, sorry. It's I See Dead People kid.
Yes.
So that guy's like a fully grown adult. Have you seen him? You seen what he looks like?
I know what he looks like.
I don't want to alarm anyone,
Are
but
you?
imagine if you take like I've got a giant fat head. Like you know the whole like don't throw stone. People in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. I'll admit I have a giant fucking head, like this much bigger proportion. Like I'm 6'4", so maybe it does work, but like I'm definitely like a jacked dude. I'd have to get like Arnie style jacked for my head to match like the rest of my body. Is what I'm trying to say. So I freely admit I have a strange shaped head, but Haley Joel Osmond has like a normal size head, but his face is like the size of a crumpet. Do you guys have crumpets? Did the English give you crumpets?
Yes.
Crumpet.
We're
Crumpet.
attached to England. We're not like.
Crumpet. Do you have no, that was weird. Crumpet.
For now, we're
That doesn't make
attached to
sense.
England anyway.
Yeah. Okay. Well, he's got a crumpet-sized face on a normal-sized head. That's all I'm saying, and it looks really weird. And I don't think I should be made fun of for pointing out how weird that is. And Jack thinks that it's weird that I think that it's weird that that guy has a very strange head. That's all. That's all. That's all.
Okay. So there's some
English guys, right?
Would you like a therapy session with Jack? Should we arrange that for next time? We'll get Jack on. We'll just be in the room and we'll just sort of listen. And how does that make you feel when he calls you a crumpet face?
Crumpet matter. Yeah. Oh, he is that. Yeah, he's saying he's that. He likes to mention that just so some people ask me about it, and then what am I going to do? Go, oh, don't worry, because it's weirder if I say don't worry.
Yeah,
It's like, well, what's with you and this kid?
I'm definitely
From the 90s or whatever.
I would pick at you. I'd pick at you, needle you until you told me the truth. You wouldn't be able to say I don't want to talk about that because I'd be like, you're going to have to.
No, I've subverted his the expectations there.
No shame here. No, if you fancy Haley Joel Osmond, that's okay.
No, I don't fancy him. No, I think it's weird.
So we'll move on from that.
And I'm allowed to think it's weird. That's my point is I'm allowed to think it's weird.
You are allowed. Nothing wrong with that. So you told us that you decided to start podcasting because you were kind of like, we like listening to crazy people, so we will become crazy people. But how have you kept?
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
How have you kept it going so long? Because you've done a lot of episodes.
We haven't. Yeah, we don't. We don't do it weekly anymore. So for the first like I don't know year and a half or something like that, we did weekly episodes. So we'd do, and some of them were like fucking insanely long as well. We did weekly episodes, and I don't think any of them are under 2 hours. Because Michael would just come around after his kids were in bed, and we'd just sit in my garage and just be like, time to have some rums. And then during the week, I've just thought of shit to talk about, and then we'd do a show, and then maybe and during the week I might do some interviews and stuff, and then just like copy and paste it into one giant file. So some of them are like fucking. We've done episode like there's one episode which was 12 hours long. We had to break it into 2 6-hour segments, I think, or 1 6-hour and 1 6.5-hour segment, like parts, part 1, part 2. Just smash out the content, man. And yes, I don't know. What was the question again? I just started talking about giant episodes, but yeah.
Sorry to interrupt you, but this is turning really mean in the chat. So Finn, the nicest person who comes to every single one of our events, he drives sort of 2 hours to come to all of our events, has just said, how do you maintain your hairline over so many episodes? Because Kieran's only done 7. Finn, that hurts me deep. And I'm sure there's a way I could ban you from this, but I would have to pay attention to what I'm doing. So you guys are fuckers. Anyway, so how have you kept it going? You've obviously initially started as a sprint and did lots and lots, but how have you kept? That's like 130 odd episodes, I think. I was having a wee look earlier.
Yeah. We're up to episode 187, I think was the last one that came out. But I wanted to do other shows as well, I wanted to cover other games. So essentially, the things that I call it the Eye of Horus podcast network because we've got shows on all sorts of different games.
So you are just.
But spoiler alert! Yeah, spoiler alert! I'm in like 99% of them because I'm recording them and just and I can't stop just fucking talking.
The Rupert Murdoch of Games Workshop games.
Yeah, that's what I want to be. Rupert Murdoch of gaming. Yeah, actually that works well.
Might look like in a few years.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So I wanted to do shows on like Necromunda, which is like a game that we played back in the 90s. It was like fucking amazing game. And the new version I think is even more amazing. And then obviously Titanicus, because that's part of the Heresy thing. But I didn't want to just put it all in the same show because there are people who just want to listen to Heresy shit, and there's people who just want to listen to Necromunda shit. And I think if we started just talking about Necromunda on our normal show, I'd never be able to stop. So we have to do like a separate show for that. So that now we've got we've got a fantasy show. We've got the Border Princes show, which is some Sydney guys who are down in lockdown down in there, and they like they're smashing out episodes for us, which is really great. Like we are hosting their fantasy episodes, but they've got a Podbean thing. So if you want extra content, they also do another show like what's it called, After Dark, where they talk about extra shit. So you can go over there and listen to that as well. So yeah, that's really good because it's good to have more fantasy content. And then we do another fantasy show called the Electocounts North of the Rack, which is me and Sean from Quartermaster. Shout out to Quartermaster. # by Quartermaster. It's one of my sponsors. Sorry. Oh, well, does that interfere with Twitch? Is that going to get you Twitch
sponsors? So it wouldn't matter.
Aren't you like Twitch affiliates or something?
No,
Isn't Twitch like stuffing cash down your pants?
No, you have to stream like 3 times a week, and I'm not interested enough to do that. Richard, were you want to say something there? Or you sound like I heard you, and then you just jump in. Richard.
Yeah, it was just about the count of the episodes. Just saying that that 180, that's only the 30k ones.
That's just Heresy, yeah.
So that doesn't include your Necromunda, your AT, your Battlefleet Gothic stuff.
Yeah, no, they're on top.
So you can see. I think you've.
And there's some specials as well. There's a bunch of specials, just like extra fucking horseshit. Like we had this big event, and we had a trivia comp on the Saturday night, and everyone was like fucking shit faced, and like and it's all Australians, so it's just like fucking super brutal, man. But I recorded because we had a PA system, and I was just like, oh, I'll record it for the show. That's a great idea. And then I was like listening, just while it was going on, I was like, fuck, I can never send this out. Like, this is fucking insane. But then I was just like, at one point I was like, fucking let's just do it. So I put it up. It's just like a bonus episode, and it's like, holy shit. Fucking some fucking savagery. So there's a bunch of just extra shit like that as well. So I think there's over 200. There must be over 200 things.
Yeah, you must because you've done quite a few Necromunda and the Border Princes on 7 or 8, I think. So any chance?
Yeah, and it becomes like a hobby. It becomes like a separate hobby, like the podcasting. Like, although I play lots of games as well. Like I get like weekly Necromunda games in, and at the moment we're playing like monthly Heresy, which is really good. I'm getting tons of games in, but I would say podcasting is probably my main hobby.
Okay.
And then luckily they work really well together because you can just always talk. There's always some fucking shit to talk about with the Heresy, right?
Some sort of drama. So we've got any chance of more episodes of Monster High? I'm sorry, that's part.
So that's a separate. That's a D&D podcast that Spencer and I do. My friend Spencer. Spencer's been doing like a PhD, so his brain's full of fucking, I don't know, whatever fucking science shit he does. Like I think he does like like trying to turn like a human into a goat man and shit like that, just like gene splicing and stuff. But yeah, so he's been doing a PhD, so he's been super busy and his brain's full of that shit. But once he finishes that, then there may be some more Monster High. He has to come and visit because we have to do it in person.
I think it's D&D is much better in person. And then Handles the Corner again needs a Troll in the Pantry podcast, which fun. I had that. I got it for free because in the Falkirk Games Workshop they hid a model in the store, and if you found it, they gave you a prize, and I found it, and that was the prize, and it was a nice little game actually. It's quite fun. That's probably about 15 quid of free stock they gave me for as a little 10 or 11-year-old who went into the shop every week. I was delighted with that, but I don't have it anymore. Okay, so what do you think? This format, you've done a live battle report, which was good, and I was on there, and I think Andy Hoare came on and put a few comments in, which was nice as well. And that.
That's how to pronounce shit. Yeah, he sends me messages because he'll listen to some of the shows, and he'll just I'll just get a message going, "It's pronounced you dumbass,"
Oh no, we were
and
just
shit like
talking
that.
about that at the
Like,
start. We were
sorry, man.
because I was saying some of the things that, what was it, Atropos, or what did you call it?
I called it a Atropos.
Atropos, or
Did I call it Atropos? What did I say?
I think it was
Atropos.
Atropos, or I say Atropos.
I think I said it was Atropos.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, either way, one was one was the other.
You say it on your show and tell us what Andy Horse says when he corrects you.
Yeah.
That'll save us.
Atropos. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah.
And have you considered sort of this format? So your shows are kind of this format, because it's not very, like, one of the things that struck me as I was listening, doing my research, I've got to make sure I pay attention, was you guys are really positive.
Okay.
You sort of bounce off each other, and I really like that style. The last episode in particular, because I was desperately trying to fix my 3D printer this afternoon while listening. You guys are like, it's quite a positive chat you have. Like, sort of not, you don't rip on each other maybe to the way that we seem to have done tonight. But you guys are quite supportive, and you sort of, I think that enthusiasm comes across really well. Would you do a live sort of Twitch thing, or do you like to have the edit button handy?
Oh no, yeah, yeah. We record a ton of our shit live on Discord. So we've got an Eye of Horus podcast Discord,
Yeah.
and
In that, actually.
in there there's a channel called Gangbang channel.
I
And
didn't dare
that's
click on
for,
any channels like that, just in case it was
yeah.
like actually a gangbang I was getting signed up.
Oh no, well, I don't know. Yeah, it's only an audio channel, so don't worry.
Looking for Love
it-
was
Yeah, this is Looking for Love channel. And the reason we record on that one is just because it's got, if just like rando people join, it
okay.
server mutes them. So you have to actually like physically unmute them, and so we record in there. So people come in and listen to us all the time. When Michael and I are just doing it in the studio, we don't usually do that, but every now and then I'll just chuck Discord on and just broadcast it in there, and people can listen in. It's just that in Australia, and at least in Brisbane where we live, on the north side of Brisbane, the internet is fucking dog shit, or what we would call in Australia fucking fucked cunt. Oh shit! Can you say C-bomb on Twitch? I don't know.
I think you can say anything you like as long as it's not racist, so it's fine.
Oh, was I racist then? I don't know. Oh, you might have to go back and edit all the other things I said.
It's live. I'm not editing anything. It's on. This is
Shit!
broadcast
Okay.
to the world, isn't it?
Okay. All right.
If we get banned, then you'll need to absorb Heresy.Scot into your podcast. Give us a job.
Yeah, you can come on the Eye of Horus network. No problems, man. Anything you want to put on there. So. I hope I don't get you guys in trouble. You're not going to get in trouble, right?
I'm pretty sure you can say the C word live on Twitch.
Okay, all right.
Also,
okay. Sorry, guys.
There's so few people that want to listen to Scottish people talk about heresy. I wouldn't worry about it. So, unless one of them reports us, oh no.
Don't do it.
Richard's reporting it right now. I can see him clicking his fingers. Anyway, okay, so I think that's the thing that comes across in your podcast. It's something that we should maybe... We're quite positive, actually. That's harsh to say that we're not positive. We do, like last episode, we were sort of saying the word proud a lot, which I thought was quite nice. It's quite nice to say things like that.
I'm proud of you.
Yeah, I think things like that are quite nice to say. So I think your positivity comes across really well. I really like that. And that's the... I'm pretty much Heresy. I'm not Adeptus Titanicus, yes, but I don't know enough about the game to really merit a podcast listen. But that's probably on the cards to catch up a wee bit on that and see what your thoughts are on that. And hopefully you're positive in that, because I'll take back everything nice I've said if you're horrible on there. But you guys can.
Yeah. So our Titanicus show is like, and this is what I always tell the guys, is like, not everyone plays Titanicus in the Heresy community. Like I would say most people don't. Maybe they've got the rules, but then I would say they probably haven't fucking played that many games. Just going by how many people you get playing at events and that sort of thing, and how many people you see talking about it online. And I'm a total fucking nub. Like we've done some stream games, and if you watch any of our stream games, you'll see how fucked our internet is. It's just totally shit. So you can't really. Video isn't super great. And like our upload speed is only like 100k or something. Like on the fucking 80s. No, sorry. This is on like the broadband thing. And whatever. That's a different story. But that's the answer as to why we don't do that much video. Is just because it sucks. It's just shit. Otherwise, I'd have a full green screen behind me and be like, "Whoa, I'm in space! Holy shit! Look at Bloodthirster head! I've got a Kree head! I'm holding a shovel." Um, yeah. Anyway, so that's why we don't do that sort of shit. And with the positivity thing, like Michael and I have known each other since like kindergarten, sort of thing. So we've got like a natural rapport, I guess. So I would say that probably answers those questions.
I think it's a good thing. I think it's very easy to be critical of the heresy. I think like you see it on certain Facebook groups.
We try to keep that. Yeah, you got to keep that to a minute. Like
Yeah.
we'll do like an episode like when they jacked, and I don't want to harp on about it, but when they jacked up the price, so they region locked Australia.
Yeah.
And then just changed the prices on. This is just for Forge World. Like it had happened to mainstream Games Workshop like years before, but a few years back, they pre-COVID, they changed the Forge World site to being.
It'd been around the Brexit time, wasn't it, when the pound went to the floor?
Yeah, it must have been just before.
Yeah.
So they region locked us. They cranked the prices by some stuff. Probably, I think. People had spreadsheets to show all the stuff and the prices, but I think like almost half the stuff, the prices of it increased by 60%, and you didn't get anything. It wasn't like you got faster postage or anything, or free postage. Just like they just cranked the prices up 60% and went, "Hey, this is how we're doing business now." So we did fucking one episode where we unleashed on that for like half an hour, and then like, what are you gonna do? Like this is what I tell people is like. Don't mistake our enthusiasm for us telling you to buy shit. Like we're playing the game. We've already got I've got 25,000 points worth of Mechanicum shit. I've got 4 different Mechanicum armies. But don't. I would never tell you to fucking go and pay their insane prices, especially after they region. This is just to Australians. Over there, it's like probably way.
Worry about saying it to Scottish people or English people too. That's perfectly fine. I think it is important in a podcast or a group or a whatever, just to be as positive as you can be. Because
exactly. I
don't think anyone's going to.
I didn't mean to bring that negativity. No, I just meant what I wanted to say, and hopefully Forge World doesn't like ring Twitch and go like, "Fucking get these fucking Scots off the air. This is bullshit," or something. But we try and like we will say shit, but like. If you just go on about it every single episode, no one's going to fucking want to listen to that shit. Like,
and I think it just doesn't encourage new people to join in. Like, it doesn't really sort of bring in. Like, if me and Richard spent days just saying that news, like the scale criticism, which isn't really fair because, like, the models from 10 years ago that were characters were all bigger. Anyway.
Yeah, fucking dude. I only just last night, like 8 hours ago, I probably went to bed. I only just found out about all the everyone's freaking out about the scale of the shit. What the fuck? Have you guys been talking about it? Is that what you've been doing? You've been talking about it already?
Not on this show. We've talked before. Me and Richard were having a sort of a. Well, actually, that's not true because we did both say new Mark 6. If they're slightly bigger, everything will be kind of in scale. And we both said Ultramarine Army, which I don't think will happen for me because, as you can see in these cabinets here, I've got too much shit. I don't.
Yeah, but we're not going on about the world's falling on its arse sort of thing. Do you know what I mean?
In this scale gate, so we had like remember book 7 was just like fucked, and like everything in it was.
I'm a Space Wolf player. I loved that.
No, fuck you. Space Wolf's not too bad unless you ran Rust like every single game or something.
I never got into combat anyway because he just get manked off the board by someone like Richard.
Magnus just doing a D blast to D Nova to everything, yeah, or just Custodes just rolling over you for some reason.
Yeah.
So that was like book 7 gate, and then and there's always some sort of fucking thing happening. Yeah, I only just caught up on that last night. Like people were talking about it in the chat, and I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about?
It's a very
They're like, it's so fucking big! It's the fucking Terminator in giant armor, and he's just too giant!
I think because it's a character, like I've not really got the same issue if it's because like your HQ should stand out, should be the cool looking guy.
People are jumping to this conclusion that they're rescaling. Is that what's happening? This is what they're saying. They're saying that the six Is that so? That Mark 6 is bigger? Is that what people are
So
saying?
people are kind of speculating just because of the bulk of the armor that it looks a little bit bigger,
What,
and it'll be more in
but
scale with the
what are they?
Chaos kit.
Oh my god! So they're basing. But what do you? What?
Yeah, there's no
I don't want to
the
say
pictures.
you. Like,
Well, so the pictures are
what are you
like.
basing this off? Give me some information. What the
So
fuck?
well, the pictures are on the screen. They're like if this was them on
Oh, I thought you
straight.
had pictures there.
They're
I was like,
like
whoa, this guy's prepared.
they're
He's
like
printed out
this
pictures
though.
of the fucking leaks. Like,
The pictures are like that, and like they've been taken on a flat screen that they're not.
yeah,
They're not
exactly. Dude,
fluffy about.
I don't fucking buy it. Like, why would they brought out Mark 3 and they brought out
Yeah.
Mark 4 and they brought out Terminator, Cataphractii and Tartarus armor. Why the fuck would they just suddenly change the scale for one mark? Like, what are they going to throw all the other marks away? I
I
don't
think that
fucking
kit's
buy
probably
that.
been designed for like 10 years as well, because I was told a rumor that Mark II had been designed like 2 years ago. So, and I could believe it. Why would you do 3 and 4 and not then do 2 and 6 at the same time? Why would you send?
Yeah, I don't. But I don't. There must be. Is there some? Maybe in the chat, get people to send more evidence in the chat because I don't buy it. I don't buy that they just fucking changed the scale like that, just going like starting now. Because didn't they just bring out so the Sons of Horus are slightly bigger? Is that the case as well?
Malagurst, who's a character, and who's the other one? The Praetor is slightly bigger, but people are taking like the HQ model and putting it next to a normal Marine. And you can do that now. Like I've got models in my cabinet. There's Neric Draeger, who was the event model from, I don't know, 10 years ago.
Yeah, he's big.
Massive.
Yeah, he's big.
He's a unit.
Yeah.
Pollux is huge, but he was big in the lore, that sort of stuff. So I don't know. We'll wait and see. I think people are getting boohoo.
Yeah, they're just
far too early.
Yeah.
Fucking the whole like ADB thing just fucking just sort of fizzled out. Nothing else was happening there, and then suddenly like scale gate, they're coming from models. Like holy fuck!
We have to careen from one disaster to another in this hobby. No one is happy unless they're miserable in Games Workshop hobbies.
I just want more evidence, man. I want people like to be like, so this fucking this rivet on a Land Raider is 28.3 mil above this ground, and then if you look at him next to the 6 mil next to the Mark 6, and then if you think about this, and then that, and then like zooming in on like parts of the fucking picture and stuff, and like look at this Terminator. If you look at the 15th rivet on his right pauldron, like. That's the kind of shit I want. I don't like everyone's just. I haven't seen any like when there's usually like graphics, those insane graphics that people, especially for conspiracy theory things, people love doing that. Yeah, here's a mind collage. Like I opened up MS Paint and just like right click, copy paste fucking shit from a Google search, and then yeah, that's what I want to see.
I wish Richard, you had taken the time today to make as best a replica of the White Dwarf or whatever that leak is, and you'd made a model. If you had a Mark 6 in your collection and you just did all the green stuff and sculpted it all, and then you held it up now and it was massive. If it was like 10 inches tall and you held it up on camera and said, I've got a preview one, and we could have blown everyone's minds, but unfortunately we're organised.
No.
Okay, so
our viewers go.
Yeah, I think they don't they come. Oh, sorry, Rich.
What were you saying, Richard?
No, I was just saying our viewer level would just go straight up. It'd be great.
We could have advertised that at the start. We should have said, we've got exclusive leaks from Tim. Tim is going to bring on his exclusive leaks for us, and then that would have put our viewer levels up. Okay,
come on with a briefcase full of pictures.
We're getting into the sort of silly questions again. What 30k character represents Australia?
I don't know. Oh, that's a good question. It's like this is gonna sound.
I'm looking in the chat for answers as well. If someone wants to say their own country.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, someone's saying Angron, but that's also Sons of the Eighth is his username. So I feel like Angron might be something that he says quite often. I would actually say this is going to sound weird because we're not Nordic people at all, but I would say like Space Wolves and Fenris is closest because it's like a death world, crazy shit. like Fenris has like all those monsters and shit under the water, and there's lots of like because people always talk about snakes and scorpions and shit, but the thing that's fucked me the most in my life over here has been jellyfish and just water shit, like just some fucking thing that's just like I didn't even know what it was, but it fucked my leg up, like stung the shit out of me. So I always think about sea monsters and shit, and Fenris has like sea monsters sort of things.
What character from the Space Wolves then?
From the Space Wolves, me personally.
Just what
question.
represents Australia as a whole in the Heresy? What is your like? So we've picked. Well, I've picked one. Hopefully, Richard's picked one for Scotland.
Oh, okay. Well, tell me else.
So Richard, you go first.
Right.
Actually, so.
Do you want me to go? Well, I actually picked Lehman Russ for Scotland.
Oh, there we go. I've not picked.
Even if I don't like Space Wolves, so.
And is that because of our jovial attitude?
Oh yeah, someone said poison snakes and spiders, death guard.
He's strong, rugged. He's good looking.
Oof.
Yeah. And he's obviously got a Norse Viking feel. He probably likes a drink as well, doesn't he?
Yeah, Richard wants to fuck Lehman Russ is what we're getting from that. Well, I didn't. So
he's so dreamy.
He's long hair.
I love guys with big teeth.
So yeah, poison snakes and spiders for Death Guard's a good shout. Australia's,
yeah, someone said that. Yeah, Death Guard.
But I would say for Scotland, I would pick Karn for Scotland because we've been fucked over by Erebus, which is Brexit, and everyone loves us, and everyone wishes we were just a bit luckier and didn't fall down the sort of shite path of Brexit and the 2014 vote. Controversial. But...
You've gone well into that. I was just going for looks. You've gone for psychological there.
I don't want to fuck Karn.
You went geopolitical. Yeah.
Yeah. So there we go. Yeah, I put you. That was Richard's suggestion. I thought I better put some bloody effort into that one. Okay, and would the USA be the fists because they love building walls? Yeah, we're getting really political now. In Australia, so 30k scene. What's the? Obviously, it's a big place, so we're being a little bit unkind. But what's the meta like? What's the sort of what the games that you come across most? What do people pick?
Well, that it's fucking it's all over the place. It's always crazy. Like I've done a bit of traveling, gone down to some other events. Like we used to go up to Townsville, which is north of where we are, still in Queensland, and they had a very different meta to the Brisbane meta. And I've gone down to Sydney and been down to the ACT, but we do have a thing called Active Heresy, which is like, we did have that the last 5 years. I think there wasn't one at the start of this year, but the 5 previous Januaries on Australia Day, we would go down to Canberra, which is the capital of Australia, and then we would play like Heresy, like a big Heresy event. So there was like people from all over the country would go there, and it was just like, there'd just be like crazy fucking meta because some people have like, more narrative meta. Some people have like the 3 Spartans and Death Star Primarch sort of shit. And you'd get people from all over Australia would come there, from Western Australia and everywhere except Northern Territory maybe, but I could be wrong on that as well. And so that event was always good because you'd go around and take photos of the armies, and like they're fucking all over the shop. It was awesome.
That's cool.
But I definitely, and this is something that we've always talked about on the show, and it's one of the reasons I personally don't like doing list reviews. Like I'll talk about like I like looking at a list and going, oh, they've taken themed stuff. They said this is the theme, and this is the theme shit that they've taken. They have done that thing that they said they were going to do. Congratulations, good work. Maybe you could change this and that sort of thing. But when it comes to is this going to fucking win a game? I don't fucking know, man. I don't know your fucking meta. Like I can't fucking tell at all. Like I could tell you how it would go in our local event scene, but I mean, I will if I can change my fucking list between every single game, I will definitely do that. If I can change it between events, certainly 100%. I'll never take the same army to like more than one event. Like I'll fine tune it, or I'll change some stuff out, or I'll take one of my other different fucking Mechanicum armies. I'd like to change it. You just get boring playing the same fucking army like over and over and over. So I personally like to just like fucking fuck the meta by just like taking different shit every fucking time, and just like who knows what the fuck's gonna happen. Sorry, my camera is going like
it was
blurry
in
and stuff.
and out. So Richard, that's kind
Must be
of
Ghost.
that fits with kind of what we've talked about before. So go on, give us your thoughts on that.
Yeah, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, we just it's quite good to hear you've got a wee bit variety by the sounds of it. Like we had a real issue locally where it was always Spartan Death Stars all the time, and it just gets boring. Same thing every time, every game.
The heavy assault company, man.
What's that?
It's my heavy assault company, man. What do you mean?
Yeah,
I need Spartans.
That was the common theme.
Yeah.
Part of the problem was though, because people would play or build a 3,000 point list and not expand. They would just go 3,000 and done.
Yeah.
Fair enough. It gets a bit boring. I think at the Heresy of Scott events we do have a bit more variety, don't we?
A wee bit.
Not local.
I think there's sort of some people run 2 Spartans, like Chris, who revels in that 2 Spartan list.
Yeah.
And I think you can kind of predict. I think you could probably do that globally. You could predict that if you ran an event, someone's going to take a Lightning McCracken penetrator missiles, and someone's going to take a Spartan, and that's going to be in one or the other is going to be in quite a lot of lists.
Yeah, that's the evolution. Is everyone takes Spartans, and then they sit there and shoot las cannons at each other, and they're flare shielded, and they can only glance on in 6, and they're like, "Fuck, how many hit points have you got again? Oh, you still got 5? Fuck!" So the next game they'll just be like, "How do I take out nothing but also get a Kraken, as many Kraken penetrators as possible in?" And then it ends up everyone's just got the same shit, which is like obviously they've got some Sicarans because they're fucking hot. And then the rest is like Spartans and like giant units in them. And then also 1 or maybe 2, if you want to get really crazy, get 2 Lightning Primes. Yeah, but that was the meta, dude. That was the meta fucking back when the game first came out, like back in 2013 or some shit. Like that's what everyone was taking. And one of the reasons, so when the plastic box sets came out and everyone started having infantry, that was one of the reasons that we created Centurion mode, because what we saw is that people will come to events and who have just gotten into the hobby and they've got just like 2 Calth sets worth of shit, right? So they've got 60 infantry and some Terminators, and maybe they bought like fucking 1 tank or something, and then like, okay chaps, time for a good old game of 3,000 points, and then just like some fucking Heresy vet who just has like fucking like 3 Achilles or whatever the fuck, and like a quad mortars and shit, just goes like, oh boy, it just fucking devastates their fucking shit because they've just got infantry, and it's not like there was that many heavy weapons in those boxes as well. So that's the whole reason. That's why we created Centurion mode, is no tanks, so you don't have just like Vindicator squadrons and shit blowing up your fucking dudes' Calth boxes. And also, you know, based on the aesthetic of the books, like if you look at the covers of the books, it's always just like Caesar Marines just like smashing into each other, and then fuck all tanks. Yeah, really, like maybe a Titan in the background, it's got smoke coming out of its shoulder or some shit.
Yeah,
Richard, you were about to say.
No.
Maybe you need to mix up the meta, is what I'm saying. If you've got fucking Spartan meta just like rolling in and out, have you heard of Centurion mode? Centurion.
Yeah, well, we're actually going down to Warhammer World next week.
And we're playing it. We're taking your mode on the road.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
We're taking it down to Warhammer World.
Yeah, awesome.
That'll be good.
When are you going? Are you going on a weekend or during the week? Or?
During the week. So we travel on Thursday, and then we play on the Friday.
Oh, nice. Say hi to Andy Hoare if you see him.
I'm sure he'll be out watching us play that game.
Andy Hoare's probably going to watch. He's probably watching this, right? Is Andy Hoare in the chat? Andy, you there? Say hello. If he's there. But yeah, hopefully you'll watch this and he'll come and check out your games.
Are you and Andy Hoare ever been pictured in the same room?
Oh yeah, true. Could be like
starting to get a theory here,
yeah.
conspiracy theory on the cards. So yeah, we're going down. That'll be great. Chance to go down. It's an
Yeah.
8-hour trip down, driving down, which
Yeah, 8 hours. Yeah.
8 hours is nothing to you. It'd take you like 20 hours to get there, but yeah, it's a bit of a trek for us. And
Take
then
us fucking 3 weeks to
yeah,
drive there from here.
yeah.
You go through have to go around the Himalayas, man. Like holy shit.
So yeah, it'll be good. It'll be good to get down. And it's interesting, the meta thing. I think that's something we've talked about it before, where and I totally actually to go back to something you said earlier, and I think that Richard was going to jump in as well. That the the idea of not giving advice is something I really, it pisses me off a lot. When someone will post a list and they'll be like, I've got my, I don't know, recon company, and then the first three comments will be, nah, that's shite. Get rid of that recon company army and buy all this
Yeah.
stuff. And you're like, wait a minute,
Yeah.
dickhead. This guy's just like, he
Yeah.
just wants advice on how to run his list properly. He's probably bought it all already. Now you're telling him to send
Yeah.
it back for a refund and start again. Like, just piss off with that advice. It's pointless. It doesn't actually help the person at all. Otherwise, we'll all end up with the same bloody list, and the game will be really crap when we're all running. It just depends what your legion traits are. Who's going to win?
Yeah, well, it's just like so the thing about dice games, and like we talked about how we've been playing since the 90s, that sort of thing. So we've played fucking and it's Games Workshop, so it's most of the same shit we've been doing since the 90s, which is looking for 3+, looking for 3+ again, or looking for 4s or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, and out of all of those fucking games, like the thing that always strikes me, and when I look at a list, like if you is reliable shit is going to be more reliable. So over a game, your reliable shit when you want it to do a thing, which is kill that unit or do that thing, like a more reliable unit's going to do that more reliably. So taking more reliable shit is therefore going to make you doing the game better.
Yeah.
No, good. If you know what I mean. Fuck. I lost my mind halfway through that sentence. But this is what happens when I talk about Math Hammer, man.
No,
Fucking drives me insane.
I think it is fair to say that. I think
Yeah,
it's a poison.
well, that's the thing. It's the easiest thing in the world to just tell people to take more reliable shit. No shit, fuckface. Like, if I wanted to fucking win every game, I know how to do that. Like, been playing the fucking game forever. It's all just 3s to hit and 3s to force to wound or whatever. Just, like, everyone knows that. Like, when people just give out this advice, and you see it on Reddit or whatever a lot, and sometimes on Facebook, but usually I'm just scrolling through looking for the pictures, man. Like, I'm like, Instagram. I'm Instagram trained now. I don't read any of the words. Just look at the picture and go, and then type, this is fucking good. But yeah, when I see people give advice, you're like, yeah, no shit. He's not asking you to fucking like tell him to take better shit.
I think
He wants to know how to use the stuff that he's got that he's painted that's really nice. Like
of the World Cup final of Heresy. Like it's nice they're doing an event at Warhammer World, and I'm not going to be Mr. Negative, but it's a tournament. And Heresy, any Games Workshop game, I'd hand on heart believe that I could write a list that if I bought the stuff, 'cause I don't have it, but I could buy a list that would win 90% of games. I could just win a list, write a list in here.
Oh yeah, fuck.
And
it's come up so many times. Like, oh, why isn't there competitive 30k?
Yeah.
You're like, well,
'Cause it'd be
fucking run
shit.
it. Just fucking run it. Yeah, I say this every fucking time. Holy shit, I'm fucking, like, I've said it so many times. When people, it always comes up and people go, well, we don't know, blah, blah, blah. And then, like, I fucking know. Run it. And then tell me if custodes don't win. Tell me if fucking, like, custodes don't... If there's 3 custodes lists there, call me when fucking 3 custodes lists don't come first, second, and third. When they don't podium with all golden men fucking chugging fucking beers. Like, that's the thing. I always tell people the same thing. If you want competitive 30k, run a competitive 30k event. See how many people show up. But after playing competitive fantasy for like fucking 10 years, you're gonna need to errata the list. Like, one of the reasons that Heresy isn't full-blown competitive bullshit is because it's fucking slightly still, to an extent, the Wild West.
Just a little.
Yeah, it's the Wild West. Like, you can take, if you want to win all the games, spoiler alert, take custodes. They're fucking bullshit. Even with their repricing, turns out they're fucking still fucking bullshit. And then after that,
Say what you mean.
Thousand Suns, still pretty fucking strong. I'm actually working on some custodes for Siege of Terror games. Ooh, yeah, custodes.
I've got some over there, so I can't really say anything.
Yeah,
Yeah, they're
they're fucking beautiful models.
hidden.
That's what breaks my heart is like they're the fucking bomb. Like probably one of my favorite books is Master of Mankind. Like I'm full blown hard on for the custodes, man. Like dudes in fucking golden armor, yeah, I love it. But they're just so like OP. Like and this is coming from me. I've played Mechanicum since the beginning. So like I would like a bunch of times, dude. I've just like it's gotten to turn 2, and I'm like,
You should be
I'm
ashamed
so
of
sorry.
yourself.
This is a mismatch. I'm sorry. It's not my fault. Like I didn't realize how fucking mismatched this game was. I'm just like, half their shit is already dead, and I'm like, ugh, sorry, man. Like I don't know. Like it's just a mismatch. Sometimes you just get mismatches in games. But I feel bad about taking custodes.
I think it's an interesting sort of problem with the game, though. Like I've seen people who have done well at a Throne of Skulls in Warhammer World, and you can tell they're really proud of that achievement, and rightly so. You've won a tournament or whatever, and you've done a good job and all that sort of jazz. But like I say, I genuinely think anyone could write a list that would win a Throne of Skulls or a competitive Heresy event, because I just think it's that easy a game if you want it to be. Like what they should do is you should bring anything you want, you write your list, you bring it along, then they put all the lists in a hat and you get one at random. Then we'll see who the best tournament player is. That would be an interesting way of doing it. I'm not sure I'd want some of those people touching my models though. So a couple of questions there. How'd you beat Custodes? What are you saying? Richard, you've been a bit quiet. Go on. How'd you beat Custodes with your Alpha Legion?
Custodes. Well, you run a militia list. You run a militia list before the errata, and you just take rending, fearless blobs. That's what I do. That's the only time I've beaten Custodes, I think. That was it.
You beat me like last time we played with him.
Did I?
Typhon me off the board.
Nah. I think I just blanked that from my memory. I don't use Typhons. They're manky. I don't use them.
Well, Typhons, Vindicator Squadrons, boom, Demolisher. Yeah. What else has a Demolisher? Anything with a Demolisher. What are those things? Malcadors.
Yeah, maybe not now. Before the FAQ, maybe.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, the fuck, dude. Yeah, that
genuinely. When I played Militia, I think that is genuinely the only time I've beaten Custodes with fearless blobs, with rending attacks.
So I've got a Solar Auxiliary army, and that Malcador change has broken my heart. It's completely taken away something I need to compete with Space Marine players, so that's a wee shame.
Yeah, just ignore it, man. The things you need to do is ignore that, just keep them as super heavies, just don't be a prick. Like, I don't know why they fucking nerfed that, if it was because people were using them as like a bomb, a mobile bomb.
Yeah.
But I mean, fucking, you could do that with any super heavy. So just ignore that and just run as a super heavy. The other thing you want to do, house rule, you want to do is make Land Raiders Transport 12. That'll just make the game so much better.
Ooh,
like fucking Transport 10 is
Transport
10's horse shit. You need to be able to put an apothecary and a character in with a 10-man squad. That's just like fucking madness otherwise. Otherwise, you just make so many lists retarded. Like, you know what I mean? Like, why would you take the armored assault one? Like where everyone gets Land Raiders, but your troops start at 10, so you can't put a character with them. It's just madness. You can't play that. Like it makes that list just super annoying.
Because why is a termite got 12?
Yeah. Who knows? Termite's smaller than a Land Raider, right?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's another house. It just makes the game better. Like I don't even run Land Raiders, but like fucking, I'm totally open to that. People running them like with 12 capacity, because it means you can have a 10-man squad, a character, and an apothecary in that unit. Just like
there's not many dissenting voices in the chat. I was expecting a couple of people to say yay or nay, but no one has.
Yes, dude. There was an edition of 40k where it was either, I think maybe it was Space Wolves, the Space Wolf Codex, or maybe it was, I can't remember, but one of the lists, just for some reason, one of the Space Marine lists back in 7th or 6th 40k had one of the Land Raiders with Transport 12 instead of 10,
okay.
but only them. and it was the fucking business. It was awesome. Like, you need that 12 capacity. But yeah, that's just like a house rule. I think that, and also, yeah, the Malkador thing's stupid. I would prefer to play, like, because that same errata also made Graviton imploders for Mechanicum shit as well. Like, it just made it a strength check instead of wounding on the armor save, which is what it was. And I don't want to, like, complain too much being a Mechanicum player, but there's not many things you can kill Primarchs with in the Mechanicum list. Like, they'll just fucking punch the shit out of like, especially someone like Vulcan or anyone who has instant death spear, sword, instant death fucking dagger, or instant death rolling pin or whatever. And all of they just smash the Mechanicum. They're just like, the fuck out of here. With Graviton imploders, at least you had that. You only had 18-inch range. You had to get close. You had to be brave, but you could actually kill a Primarch, and you could also deal with Custodes.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, Custodes just roll through Mechanicum now, like
Richard
killing.
Had that problem. I think he used Alpharius to absolutely destroy like 6 Castellax.
Yeah.
One little prick,
Yeah.
and they were all gone.
That was pretty much the only times I've killed Primarchs was with the old Graviton imploders. But now it's like having a Strength 3 AP2 gun, like, because you're almost always only going to wound on a 5/6 or a 6.
So there's what are you saying, Lee, there in the chat? If you're building your list like you're scared of losing, guys, and you've lost the psychological edge, that's very sort of deep. Like, that's like Art of War, Sun Tzu style. Like, I'm gonna write that down. That should be one of those messages that's on like all the codexes and stuff, like message of the day. So we're on to Richard's hopefully prepared for. He's called this a buzz quiz. It's a choice. You have to say, it's like say it as quick as you can as the answer to this. So it's not a true quiz.
Oh shit! I'm getting all my messages relayed from Michael and Tim in my earpiece.
Are they being nice to you? Are you like you have like schizophrenia-esque answers?
Well, I'm just saying with fast questions. I mean, they've got to watch the stream and then get back to me and tell me, give me.
No.
It's not that extreme. It's not multiple choice. It's one or the other, and you have to pick it. It's going to be like your personal preference.
It's a personality sort of style to tell me whether you're a.
I feel like you guys are just trying to crack my passwords or something. Like all these like, what was your mother's maiden name again? Sorry.
We've got a third person who's not on stream who's trying to get into all your stuff right now.
Yeah. There's someone upstairs in my house, I'm sure.
Go on, Richard.
All right, well, my wife just brought me a coffee, so I'm ready to go. Like
You're wired.
Training my brain. Instead of drinking booze, I'm drinking some coffee, so I'm good to go.
Okay. So this is how this is going to go. I'll ask you a question.
Yep.
You've got one choice. Well, 2 choices. You choose one, okay?
Oh, one choice would be horrible. It'd be a really hard quiz if you're like, this is your answer.
Yeah, sorry, I'm not speaking. I can't speak clearly.
Do you like Space Marines? Yes. Yes.
So,
yes, I guess. Oh, correct. Next round.
So, so everyone on the chat, do it too. Put your answers in. Get involved. All right. Tim and Keenan will give their instant answer to this.
Okay.
And at the end, you're either going to be a Chad or cool.
Tim, you can go first.
A Chad or cool? What does that mean? I thought Chads were cool.
Yeah, I thought Chads were the good thing. Chad are a fanny.
Chad are a fanny, then.
Chad are a fanny.
I just always thought Chads were people you don't like.
No, Chads are like alphas. We're all Chads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we?
It's a rad man.
Out of the 3 of us, 2 of us are married and 1 of us is engaged. We're clearly shackers.
I totally misinterpreted that whole sort of meme thing.
You don't want to be on the meme. You want to be the Chad. You don't want to be the wee dweeb guy. You want to be the Chad.
You don't want to be the beta.
Yeah.
It's not a revelation in my life here. Do you know that?
Fuck.
Right, anyway, let's get on with it.
Chad.
Right. Traitor or loyalist?
Loyalist.
Narrative or competitive?
Narrative.
Power armor or Terminator armor?
Power armor.
Yeah. Ooh. Horus or the Emperor?
Emperor.
Emperor.
It'd be a bit weird if we said loyalist and then we're like, Horus.
Yeah, no,
Obviously,
some
I
of these
agree
are a
with
bit
Horus.
weird.
Yeah. Identify with Horus, obviously.
Right. Marmite or Vegemite?
Vegemite. Oh. Vegemite?
Marmite's dog shit. Marmite's like the Imperial fucking. It's like the UK going, take this shit from London.
Someone said death in the chat.
What's that?
Someone said death as an answer to that one.
But that's right. It's Vegemite you've got in the Australia, innit?
Yeah. We developed our own like fucking disgusting yeast spread thing when we were like cut off from disgusting yeast spreads from Old Blighty.
Right. Thousand Sons or Space Wolves?
Space Wolves.
Ooh.
Thousand Sons
Disgusting.
of dumb fucks. Waiting for
It's fun
looking in the
5.
chat. No, everyone's saying Space Wolves in the chat. It's alright.
It's fun.
You can't report this after it's gone out, right? You can't.
It
is recorded. Yep. I'd say Siege of Terra is more interesting.
Yeah. Oh. Sorry. Say again. Sorry.
Istvan 5 or Siege of Terra?
Istvan 5.
Okay.
100%. It's the most grim industrial shit, man. It's where it all went down.
Glaive or Fellblade?
Glaive.
Oh, good choice. Of course, this is all non-biased, but Drop Pod or Termite Assault Drill?
Drop Pod.
Probably Termite.
Steve Irwin or David Attenborough?
David Attenborough.
What's that? I don't know who that is.
You know who David Attenborough is?
No way!
Oh, Attenborough. Yeah, sorry.
Fuck. Ugh.
Hey, I don't know if anyone's told you guys before. You've got fucking slightly different accent to the rest of the English-speaking cunts like us.
This is a fact about accents that Richard doesn't like, but Richard's fiance thinks I've got a sexy voice.
Honestly. She's probably listening.
She watches the streams.
On the other side of that door.
Anyway, Steve Irwin or David Attenborough never answered.
Yeah, no.
Well, and obviously, Jesus Christ. Attenborough going around picking up eggshells and shit. Whatever.
Didn't feed snakes.
Steve Irwin was jumping on the back of crocodiles and grabbing them and going like, whoosh.
Look where that got him.
Predator or Cicadan?
Cicadan.
Seaground, yeah.
Yeah. Volkite weapons or rod weapons?
Volkite.
Okay. Yeah.
Fulgrim's head or Ferrus Manus' head?
Ferrus Manus' head.
Yeah, Ferrus Manus' head.
Okay. Emo Korax or Emo Kurs?
Oh.
Korax.
Kurs for sure. Kurs. Korax! Korax is just a creepy fucking dude, man. Watchful Korax.
He's just let himself get killed, though. That's a bit of shit. It's a good story, but it's still a weird end for a Primarch.
Cats or dogs?
Cats.
Dogs.
Luna Wolves or Sons of Horus?
Luna Wolves.
Ooh. That's tough. I do like Sons of Horus. Yeah, I like Sons of Horus.
True scaling or classic scale?
Classic.
Classic.
What does true scale mean there? Does true scale mean...
When I say true scaling, I mean when you purposely convert your miniature to make it bigger.
So you're not talking about... Because if somebody watches this in like 6 months' time, when we've got like new giant Mark 6...
Marines are this big.
Yeah.
True scale.
I just don't want this to be part... Yeah. Like someone's going to go through and make a montage of me saying, fucking shitting me, like, what? They're not going to change the scale, that's stupid.
I'm going to get my Mark 6 Marines and I'm going to shave bits off. I'm going to chop like a millimetre off
off
their shin.
I'm going to classic scale all my Mark 6. That's like, fucking Anvil's a Colonel Jack, I don't know if he's still in the chat, but He's one of the dudes who like gives them all like shin extensions, like cuts them in the shin and like extends them out. I'm going to do the reverse of that though. I'm just going to
Just
cut
to
them
spite.
Yeah.
and get on a table saw with like whatever, like 2-3 mil wide
Straight through.
blade on the table saw, meow, and then just dunk,
Glue
and
it.
then maybe a little bit of green stuff. Yeah, I'm gonna backwards scale them all. Oh fuck, that's a great idea. You know their bases. You turn the base upside down so they're standing in a dish, so they're actually shorter, a little bit shorter there as well.
That'd be the easy way to do it, is just chop their feet off and then put them on a muddy base as if they're like wading.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh
Yeah, exactly.
no, well,
You're a genius.
Yeah, you're a fucking genius, mate.
Right. Adeptus Titanicus or Battlefleet Gothic?
Oh fuck!
Or
Adeptus
Heresy.
Titanicus, I think. Oh, that's giving me a.
Yeah, BFG. BFG.
Oh, that's
Yes.
painful.
BFG's easier to play. You don't need all those tables and.
Toads or wolves?
Did you say toads or wolves? Wolves.
Yeah, I did. Yeah.
Toads.
What the fuck?
Thank you.
Guess it
They're
Right,
both
last
pretty
one.
good though.
Last one.
doesn't
Right.
want to be on
Good.
next time.
They're both great organizations. Good people on both sides.
Pineapple on pizza, yes or no?
No.
I don't mind it.
That's a yes then.
Coming from like a tropical place, but I just eat pineapple, just chunks of pineapple as well. Like, what's.
Divisive though, innit, about pizzas.
But
Anyway,
what's the
that was
argument
it.
though?
That's
What's
your
the
first
argument? Is it bad only on pizza, or is it just pineapple in general is bad?
I think people try to claim it's bad on pizza, but it's made for it.
Do you know that
Yeah, I don't mind it.
pineapple has an acidic enzyme in it that dissolves your tongue as you eat it?
That's why it's so good.
It's good for digesting meat, man. If you ever have one of those like insane meat fests, you know, like if you go to like a churrascaria or whatever, like do you guys have those, like the Brazilian?
I've never been to a meat fest, personally.
do you have
Nah.
those Brazilian
Me
like Brazilian all you can eat barbecue things over
Uh,
there in Scotland?
Probably, I'll say no, because Scotland's restaurant sort of vibe is shit. We did have a Mongolian
You
place.
guys have more. Okay, here's a fact. I don't know if you guys know this, but this is from. I was watching like Rick Stein's Food Odyssey or some bullshit like that, and Edinburgh has more. I don't know where you guys aren't in Edinburgh, obviously, but Edinburgh has more restaurants per capita than anywhere in the world.
That is a good fact.
That is a good
But you
fact.
don't have fucking Brazilian barbecue?
We had someone's pointing out one in Glasgow. Oh, there is one apparently, but there was a Mongolian place where they like had like crocodile meat and all that sort of fancy random shit.
Yeah.
That was quite good.
Yeah, have you had it?
I've been.
Did you try the crocodile?
It's closed down, but yeah, I tried that. But it would all be frozen shit. It wasn't. Obviously, where'd you get a fresh crocodile in Scotland from?
Oh,
But
I want fresh Scottish crocodile, mate.
range. But yeah,
You gotta try the Brazilian one though, man. It's the bomb. Like it's just like those videos where they cook like just giant chunks of meat on giant like swords and shit over fires, and then basically you have like a thing on your table that has like one end is green and the other end is red, and when you want to just like turn on the meat, you just turn this thing upside down so the green bit's showing, and it's just like shovel on the meat, and they just keep bringing you meat, and they just bring you over these giant sticks. They'll just be like, here's a skewer that's like, a meter long, and it's got like, I don't know, 100 chicken hearts on it that they've just like roasted over a fire, and they just like, here, have some chicken hearts, have some kind of sausage thing. Like you don't even know what they're bringing out half the time. They just bring out like giant chunks of meat.
People in the chat are pointing out we did have in Scotland. There was an all-you-can-eat Chinese restaurant that used seagull meat instead of chicken. So I wouldn't trust a Scottish restaurant to give us the real deal. Maybe like, here's your crocodile heart, and it'd just be more seagull.
This is just seal.
Every single one of these just looks the same. It's just, and it's got a beak.
Well, I'll tell you what, like, crocodile meat is not like a fucking delicate meat that might be spoiled by being frozen. That's all I'm going to say.
It was alright. It was
like,
nice enough.
Imagine dry turkey. It's like, it's dry turkey, essentially.
Okay.
Oh no, what was yours like? Oh,
It was fine. It was
I can
just,
tell you for sure that I've eaten crocodile and it tastes like dry turkey. If you're gonna say that it's like some delicate soft meat,
it
I
was
reckon you're
not.
probably eating cat or fucking, you
No,
know,
it was
seal or something.
just a bog standard meat, wasn't it? Like if it's frozen, it's lost a bit of its flavour, but
Ah, no, it wasn't crocodile then.
it's
You were
probably
definitely eating like goanna or something.
someone's dead pet. Anyway, is that
Some
it,
kind of
Richard?
land serpent from Africa.
Yeah, that's your personality quiz over.
Who won?
Kieran,
Did we pass?
you scored pretty low.
Pretty low.
Tim, you passed.
What the fuck?
Well, it's a personality quiz based on my opinion.
And
So
going back to what you said earlier, you didn't think a Chad was a good thing. So I've come out as a Chad and Tim has come out as a beta.
Oh no!
oh man, this is fucking time warp now.
He's fucked it. He's
Totally
fucked
fucked
it
me
over.
over.
Fucked it up. All right.
Oh well.
That was good anyway, and
Good
people in the
one.
chat got stuck in. So if anyone answered like me, which a lot of people did, they're all fucking lost. And you get a new personality.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I better not come to the next event then. I'll get battered or something.
No, we'll keep you safe. Don't worry. Okay, so we already showed some stuff off from you guys. I'll very quickly show you the pictures if you've got the stream, just so that you can enjoy what we were talking. So there was obviously give you a shout out for your the podcast, which you don't really need because nearly everyone involved in Heresy must follow you by now.
Yeah, but a lot of people don't anymore. I mean, like, there's a short following, and then they go, "These guys, what the fuck?"
They come and go. I showed the corrugated cardboard AT terrain because I think it's one of the cleverest things that I've seen in a long time. Really gives a good breakup of terrain.
It's good stuff, man. If you want that stuff too, you just need to just search for it's called honeycomb cardboard,
Okay.
and just Google search it, and if you search like honeycomb cardboard Scotland, guaranteed there'll be some like transport company or shipping company or something, and they'll sell it to you. They'll sell you a sheet, but you need to make sure that you pay attention to the dimensions.
So I don't buy
Because
like
you
a
go and pick it.
100-foot wide sheet.
Yeah, exactly. Like I've got a like a Subaru hatchback, and when I read the dimensions, I was like, Jesus Christ, because it comes as like an 8x4 essentially sheet. So you need to get them to cut it down. So I got them to cut it down into 3 sections. I was like, cut it into 3 bits, and they're like, yeah, no probs. And I was like, okay, cool. Put the chairs all the way forward in my car. As I said before, I'm over 6 foot tall, so I was just like up against the steering wheel, and literally I was able to close the door, and I just sort of like crumpled one corner, but it just fit. So that was cutting into 3, and it took up basically the whole back of my car. So just make sure if you're going to go pick it up and you don't have like a van, like a creepy van, like serial killer style van or something, make sure you pay attention to the dimensions, and don't, because I can just imagine, like, I always say this because I tell someone to go and buy this shit and they turn up and they get this like 8x4 and like, oh, I guess I'll just carry this home. Yeah, but it's good shit, man. Fucking best stuff. Like really easy to work with, and you can cut it. I used a table saw, just because it's super fast. Yep. But you can cut it with like if you had like a ruler and a really sharp like scalpel or something with a blade long enough, you could easily cut it. And it comes, at least in Australia, it comes in 3 different thicknesses as well. I think that stuff's 12 mil, but there's also like a 28 mil. Version where it's like really, really, really thick. So if you wanted to build even bigger shit, I'm thinking getting a sheet of each, the thicker stuff and the 12 mil to make some Necromunda terrain. Building like, so it's good stuff. Super cheap. Makes a super cheap table. That table is like cost fuck all.
Okay, and then the last one. This was if Michael turned up, we were gonna sort of showcase his lovely army, and we're going to ask a couple of questions about it and see what.
Oh no, that's a different Michael. Michael.
It's not even, because I thought Michael was the one that played the game with you on the live stream. Was that not him?
Oh no, yeah, he does, but that's not his army. That's a different. That's a Michael. Michael Young, who's over here. That's his Emperor's Children. If you go to I don't know if you can do it on the fly, but if you go to EOH Foundry.
So more than that. I've beat you to the punch. There was the thing for people that have joined later on. And then here's a picture of some of the stuff he's been working on, which we were already saying was insane, that he's so good at doing those patterns and stuff on his Adeptus Titanicus.
Yeah, he's
Far too good.
I like how he puts up his whips. Cause his finished stuff is just like fucking outrageous. Like he's definitely like one of the best painters. Like it is really, really good. And he's been doing stuff like that since the beginning as well. Like just smashing out really nice stuff. I think that heresy aesthetic with where you use like powders and make stuff look like grim and realistic and stuff is just like really engaging, I guess. Like if I went back and tried to paint stuff like I'd find it hard to get back into like 40k maybe, just because of all the edge highlights and shit like that.
Oh no, you're gonna set me off. Shit, I was one of the people having a big argument on. Well, I pointed out on ADB's rant that I was told by someone on Crusade and Heresy that edge highlighting was a 40k thing and it didn't belong in the Heresy, and I thought that was really stupid. So now I'm going to fall out of you, Tim. That's it. We're gonna.
Oh no! Well, I'm just saying I wouldn't do it like that anymore. I've gotten into the whole like trying to make it, because once you start using pigments and stuff, you're getting like you're like I don't know how to say it. I think like the heresy aesthetic, you're trying to make the shit look realistic.
That was basically the guy's argument, was that it was sort of.
And that's only that aesthetic. Like I play against like normal armies all the time. Like you know what I mean? Like not normal, but there's an aesthetic called what I call grim industrial, which is like grim darkness of the far future. Not too far though. Don't go that extra 10,000 years. Stop at about 30,000 years.
Where suddenly everything becomes edge highlighted in the 10,000
years. Yeah, and about M36. That's where just edge highlighting shit fucking takes off. And then fucking Tau pick it up and stuff. But before that, that's why Necrons are so good, man. That's why Necrons are so grim industrial, because they're from before. They're from 40 million years earlier. It's about M36 is when that shit takes over. It's after the post-apostasy. That's some post-apostasy bullshit that I can't get behind.
Irrefutable, really, because like the Eldar kind of reformed after the fall, so yeah, that's like you can't.
Oh yeah, exactly, yeah.
Somehow you've managed to bullshit a reason why edge highlighting's 40k only and grim industrials and 30k.
Yeah, come up with some hentai reason for Eldar to exist. But you know what I mean? Like, I just the way that I've painted my shit is to try and like if it's a glossy thing, I'll put gloss on it. If it's fucking a metal thing, I'll put like a little bit of damage on there and put some oils and stuff, and I'll try to keep it metallic. Like I paint my metallic shit metallic. That's just the aesthetic that I like. Like I don't give a shit. Like and like I've said this online. I don't care what you do with your own property. I definitely don't fucking care. It's just if you have unpainted shit, I'm not going to put pictures of our game on the internet. That's all. And if that hurts your feelings, I'm fucking sorry. You can block me because I'm such fucking elitist that I won't put pictures of your unpainted fucking half-assembled shit on my Instagram stream. If that offends you, I'm really sorry. But that's just the case. Like, it fucking cracks me up, man, all this elitism shit. Because it's like, number one, if you're getting upset on the internet, ADB, it's probably because some Australian is sitting there with his fucking hat with corks dangling off it, just going, "Oh, you fucking dickhead." That's why you're getting upset. Just fucking block those people. I did a post on our Facebook group, and I said, if someone's upsetting you, just fucking block them. Like, it's easy. Like, if you're upset about toxic people, just fucking block them. If you're worried about, like, someone being toxic on Facebook, or sorry, on YouTube or a podcast, don't listen to it. Don't watch it. Like, there's no fucking, like, the argument that there's these, like, fucking spring lambs just like, boy, I can't wait to get into the Horus Heresy. I'm just going to absorb all of this content. And then go to, like, you know, the outer circle or whatever and just go like, oh, fucking, what? These fucking guys are so salty. Oh my god, and someone else's opinion has fucking driven, somehow someone else's opinion on YouTube has fucking stopped my desire to do a thing that I wanted to do. Like, what the fuck? Like, how weak fucking willed are you if you go on the internet and some shit that isn't real, which is what most of the internet is, stops you from doing a thing you wanted to do?
I agree.
What the fuck?
No, I think that's
It's
the right.
I feel like I'm always being unreasonable about this shit for some reason, but I don't. But I don't.
I think both of us agree with you on that.
I think that's sort
Definitely.
of like I've used the block button more in the last month than I have in the last like 5 years, because it is getting to the point where some people are just spouting shit on the internet and thinking that people, like, there's a picture I've got, I don't have it handy, I wish I could put it up, where it's like someone is standing outside a circle and they say, I don't like the thing you're doing, and all the people in the circle are huddled up, and one of them just puts a thumb out, and then they just go back to being in their circle. And I just, like, you don't need to listen to some dickhead who's you don't agree with. Like, diversity and inclusion doesn't mean you have to listen to arseholes. Like, you can just quite easily just block them and go on with your life.
People saying, oh, I get these messages, DMs from people. Like, if someone like ADB, who, like, I've got fucking nothing against ADB. I think that, like, throwing just accusations out there without any saying who the fuck you're talking about is a stupid fucking idiot thing to do, and and everyone's just gonna be like, what the fuck, and like demand evidence or some,
Yeah.
He must be followed by like 80% of Heresy people. So if someone's DMing him fucking toxic shit, just screenshot that shit and just tweet it out, and then everyone will know who the toxic fuckfaces are, and then we can all block them. But people like there's this whole like thing where people go, oh, I'm getting all these DMs, all these people are DMing me angry shit. Well, fucking just dox them. I'm telling you to dox them. Just put them out on the fucking internet. Like, if someone's DMing you some offensive stuff, just tweet it out so everyone can see what's going on. Like, it's not hard to do. If there was no, like, there is no internet police. If there was no police in real life, we'd be able to sort this out.
No, like you're preaching
like,
to the choir.
The internet, like, oh my god. Yeah, I don't know. It just,
you're like, hallelujah.
I've been on the internet for fucking years though. Like, I was exposed to the internet from a young age, so from my teenage age. So I don't know. Like, maybe I'm just more like resilient to that shit. But I don't buy the whole like spring lamb theory where people are driven out of the hobby by what people are saying online, which you have to literally go and find it.
Yeah.
You're going to look for shit to make you upset so you can get pissed. I don't know. I didn't buy it. I also have like tons of people blocked. Like, if someone's a dickhead, I'll just block them and just be like, well, don't need to worry about that. So maybe that's why I'm not seeing some of this stuff. But when
that's fine. I don't think there's a problem with that. I think that's a healthy.
Say who you're talking about.
Yeah, I think that
just
would
call people out.
I did actually
call people out. If
have
someone's a dickhead, call them out.
had the same thought about sort of, if you're saying that sort of someone's upset me, well, there's going to be people that are going to assume it's about them. There's going to be people that don't give a fuck and it is about them, because they're not going to come along and be like, yeah, I did call you a bell end, what are you going to do about it? They're just going to go off and annoy someone else. So it's important to sort of call them out and say, actually, this account sent me a message and called me or whatever, not to brigade them or to try and encourage your followers to go and beat them up in the street or something, but just as a way of saying, this person's a cunt.
Public awareness. Public awareness. I mean, I floated that idea. I said that somewhere, like in a chat or something, and people, maybe it was in our group. I said, why didn't they just fucking do that? And someone said maybe Games Workshop doesn't want them doing that. I don't know.
Maybe,
but fuck, man. Like, if you're gonna throw around blind accusations about people being toxic, like,
it's almost like, you remember back in like MySpace and Bebo days, and maybe people do it now, but I'm an old man now, so I don't do it, where you'd be like, you'd sort of post a passive-aggressive comment on your profile, and you'd be like, oh, I can't believe they've done that to me. And then someone would reply and be like, who? And you'd be like, oh, I don't want to talk about it. Like,
yeah.
You're not actually resolving anything.
Yeah. Well, remember back in your 20s, like, there's always, like, when you're going out to clubs and stuff or whatever. I'm assuming you guys have clubs over there as well. Like, there's always just people that want to start some drama about some shit. Like, they can't, like, there's always those certain people where if they came out with you or you went out drinking with them, they'd always be like, oh, my fucking ex-girlfriend's brother-in-law's fucking niece is over there at the bar. Fuck, man. Oh, yeah, I can't believe it. Just get riled up. Knock something over here. Just get, like, riled up about shit. And then just, like, they have to start some drama about something. I don't know. That people definitely do that on the internet as well. But, fuck, man. I don't know. It seems really weird. Like, I think, like, ADB could have done that better. Like, instead of just throwing out accusations, just fucking call them out. Because I just assumed it was psycho Australians, because it's almost always some Australians doing that. And they're like, last few times there's been some like internet blow-ups. There's been some in our groups and stuff like that. But I mean, in our Facebook group, there was sometimes giant shit fights, but generally one side or the other of the argument just leaves, and then it's like, okay, cool, back to normal. Now we can have no drama again for a while. But I don't know. Maybe ADB has, maybe it's like viral marketing.
Yeah, I guess
He's got,
maybe
he must have
coming
got,
out.
because he's had his shit posted across like everywhere. I don't think I've seen any reposts on Reddit, but like Facebook and Instagram, everyone is reposting his tweet and stuff and going like, "Yeah, good on you, ADB." So I don't know. It's good,
so.
good business move, I guess. What's that thing they say? Like all
publicity is good publicity.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Maybe it's that, but I don't know. It just seems foolish for someone to throw around accusations, especially when it's the community that they're making their money off, right? Like, he's selling books to the community while also slagging on them as well. Like, but not actually saying who it is, and then just going, but everyone's seen it, right? Everyone's seen the toxicity. Well, I don't know. Fuck, have I?
I think that's.
I'm mainly on Instagram, and as I said, I just look at the photos.
That's all Instagram's for, really. Okay.
Yeah.
So we'll take another minute or two break because I'll need a tea. Are you still all right? You got time, Tim? You're not like desperate to get away?
Yeah, no.
Okay, so
it's Father's Day over here. Father's Day.
Are you a father?
Yeah, I am. But this counts as sleep-in time.
I'm sorry, I've totally ruined your day off.
We're using my Father's Day sleep-in to do this, just so you know.
Better make it worth it. We've not got a huge amount left to cover. We'll go over events after the break.
That's right. I'm just fucking. That is a true fact, but it's fine. It's totally fine. Okay, I've got a coffee now. My wife ran and grabbed me a coffee while we were talking.
That's true love, but my wife is away on a trip, so I have to get my own tea. So I'm going to make a tea, have a quick pee again, and then we'll come back and we'll do. This is the first time we've ever done 2 breaks in an episode, but we've got a wee bit of event coverage, and then we'll wrap up after that. But give us a couple of minutes, and we'll be back.
Yep.
So hopefully we're back. We're going to do just a wee bit more because it's nice having Tim on, and let's make the most of him when we've got him. So a wee bit about events over in Australia and sort of contrast that with what we do and see what's the same, what's different. So typically we're a 3K, 2 days, 5 game, 3 on the Saturday, 2 on the Sunday, the traditional, let's call it, because that's what everyone seems to do. Is that kind of fitting what you guys like to do over there, or do you do something different?
Most of our events we try to do like 1 day events. The format I like is having like a 1 day event, but it just goes into the night, and then just having like 3 sessions essentially. Like having like a 1 day event with a morning and an afternoon session and like a nice decent lunchtime, and then starting not too early. I think is a gentlemanly way to do it, because you can get like a 3,000 point game in, like get out of bed, go and have a breakfast, have a coffee, get to the venue, play like a 3,000 point game, have a lunch, like a nice hour-long lunch break or whatever, have some beers, return to tables, play another game, go home. But we do that style thing every once a month. And then for a really big thing where you're going to fly interstate, because you probably want to have like a 2 day event, just to make it worth people's while if they're gonna fly from somewhere else. But if it's just like monthly games, just like where you've got a room for 1 day once a month or whatever, then like just 2 games is good. You can smash out more games, but our major like philosophy is letting people finish their games. Like I hate just being like 30 minutes till dice down. Like,
because I got that was one of my
bullshit.
worst sort of 40k stories. Was I played a doubles at Warhammer World, and it was a father-son who had orcs and Imperial Guard, and it just spammed infantry, and they just went so slow that we only played 2 turns. And it was the turn just where me and my partner were about to assault them all and kill them all with our Space Wolves and Blood Angels charging combo. And then the time was up, and they were like, "Oh yeah, so we just need to count back the turn. So at the start of turn 2, oh, we'd done more damage. Oh, that means we win." And I was like, "What? Like you've deliberately?"
Yeah, that's not
It
shit.
took them an hour to deploy because they kept moving their tanks around, like that were like their backfield support, and it was like, please just start the game. So yes, I agree that
I
finishing
fucking
the
hate
game.
shit like that. Jesus Christ.
It's not like
Just fucking like you just want to like play like the number one thing is you want to just like have a pleasant experience. If you can get through the game without having to bring up like open a rule book and fucking argue over shit, it's just getting through the game without arguing over shit and finishing the game in the allotted amount of time. Like that's just like a basic like what's it called? Like a basic courtesy. So if someone says you got it's a tournament with 3 hour sessions, and you have to play this many points, play a test game, and then figure out from your test game, set a timer, play a test game against your brother on your mum's fucking kitchen table or whatever, and time how long it takes. Because you can't play like an all-day fucking game at a tournament when you got to play 3 games. You're only going to get 2 turns in, and no one's going to have fun playing you because they're going to get 2 turns in. So if it is a tight fucking thing like that, fucking sort your shit out. Just figure it out. Like, you need to play in the fucking allotted thing. That's just a common courtesy. Otherwise, you're just fucking wasting people's time.
And it's kind of cheating. Like they seem to deliberately do it just to win the game that way, because they knew if we got to them, they were dead.
Yeah. On the other hand, though, there is a lot of people in the Heresy community, and I'm only saying that from a tournament perspective. There's a lot of people in the Heresy community who collect stuff and paint shit all year round, and they might only go to one event a year, right? So they're not like super fucking rules guys, so they'll take longer, and it's more of a social thing as well. Like especially like our big events where we might have people coming from all over the country. I mean, even Active Heresy now has morning and afternoon sessions as well. Just because people are coming from all over the country, It's like a socialization thing. All the fucking pro painters and shit from all around the country that talk to each other on Twitter, Instagram or whatever. Maybe there's some like other fucking social media just for like super pro painter guys that I'm not in because I'm not a super pro painter. Maybe I should ask Michael. But they're talking to each other and sharing techniques and jerking off and stuff all through the year. And then when they finally bring out all their super cool painted shit, it's more of like a socialization thing. And like definitely every game I play is just me. Is just mostly fucking talking shit. So having like you want the extra time essentially. You don't want people like fucking hounding you to finish your games and like having a morning session. Boom, like easy. You can finish your games. That was a really long-winded answer.
I think it's a good answer. I think it's true because that's when you
just like take it. Be laid back. Like
the guys, so a couple of the commenters there are down and just over the border, so they're still kind of cool. They're not full English. They're just kind of like adopted Scots. They ran an event last weekend. It was only last weekend. It feels like weeks ago.
Yeah, it would have been.
They did recreated Istvan 5 with I've forgotten the name of it. I call it the BBQ. It was like a barbecue. And they just had an all-day session, barbecue, relax game. It was a full-day game thematic. I like that style because it's the sort of thing you do with your pals. And you got to, like, as much as we run events and we enjoy running events, if I didn't play here with my pals, I wouldn't do events because I'd be like, it's not a fucking job. It doesn't pay my bills. So the ones that you play weekly, monthly, fortnightly, whatever at home are way more important than the events because that's what keeps your fire stoked and keeps you in the mood for doing it. And then you go
exactly.
Then you go to an event and
get
absolutely crushed by some asshole, and then you need your pals to cheer you up again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Home games are great. Like that's when you get most of your dice time in. But like the best thing about events is just like you're playing against people who you have different armies to the ones that you play every week. You know what I mean? Like, that's why we've always tried to push like. And we've spent so much time talking about events and running them and how to do this and that and just different ideas and theories about what you should do is because that is like that's what you should be working towards, like 'cause that's where you have access to all the armies you want to play against. Because like when you think about like your army, whenever I think about my army, I always imagine I'm just kicking the shit out of some fucking other dickheads, some gun pig idiots like Iron Warriors or turd bearers especially, just fucking just like Castellax fucking stomping down on their fucking heads and crushing them. Just like like a Castellax just grabbing a Marine and pulling both his arms off. And, that sort of shit. I always think about the other guys I'm playing against. When you have access to the most of those is when you go to an event. You can just like, oh shit, who am I going to play against next? What's the next story going to be? Like, you can imagine like Istvan 5 is just all these warbands just smashing into each other until all the loyalists are dead. Like that's what it would be like like, oh fuck, what guys are going to try and stop us from like going through this mountain pass or whatever, But I don't know. That's just how I feel.
You say that, but I went to the doubles event at Warhammer World, which was the last sort of event that I'd been to, I think, other than our own.
Yeah.
And I played out of 5 games. I played Thousand Sons and Iron Warriors in. I think it was 4 of the 5 games, and 3 of the 5 games had Perturabo and Magnus together, and it was like 1750 per player or something like that. It was like a pathetic low points total.
What?
So when you're saying make a story, I was like, fucking hell, not these.
1750 plus, including a Primarch.
It was. I think it might have even been less. It might have been 1500 per player, and they were running their like bullshit to get Primarch's HQs. And it was the same strategy in all of them, where Magnus was trying to teleport late on in the game to grab the objective, and I was just like, please, I can't have a narrative. Like the narrative story was Magnus and co are trying to fuck us up again. We're just desperately holding on. Can't really turn that into a nice story. But I do like your point. I think that makes sense to be like my solar. Like I think that's where non-Space Marine armies really benefit. So my Solar Auxilia, I've given them a regiment name, I've given a character name, I can chart their sort of history because they're mine. No one else has that army. Like, well, they might have Solar Auxilia, but they don't have that regiment. Whereas Space Wolves, you're like, well, they went to Prospero, they went to the Vengeful Spirit, and that's kind of about it. They didn't really do very
Yeah.
much.
Well, that's why like the whole Shadow Wars idea that Alan Black came up with. Well, I'm guessing it was Alan Black because he wrote the book, but in book 6, the whole like idea of the Shadow Wars, where there's just small war bands from all the legions just sort of spread out across the galaxy, just fighting each other and sort of trying to aid the loyalists or traitors on across the galaxy. That sort of thing, like that makes a bit more sense because you're using smaller forces. Like just a single company of Marines going into a battle zone where there are no other Marines is going to have like a huge impact. So, multiple companies all fighting each other across like a huge like ongoing war, because you got to remember like the entire fucking galaxy is burning and fucking at war. So your company is sort of moving through these battle zones, just like constantly having to be like, no, we're loyalists, don't fucking destroy us, please. And then just like looking for and then hunting down traitors or whatever. That makes more sense than sort of the mainstream, like what's happening in the novels. Fucking raw, and then fucking instead of just killing each other, we just talked and like, that sort of shit.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
So, like, how many events in total do you think you've run, and what's been your most
Me?
successful? Yeah.
Me personally, I don't know. Maybe probably 10. Maybe 10.
Not bad.
I'd have to go back and look.
Yeah.
It must be about 10 because we've run them as parts of other, things. Like once a year, we run like the Heresy event as part of HeroCon, which is like a Australian Army sort of wargamers group, and they run like an open sort of thing called HeroCon where anyone can come, and we run the Heresy there, and it's like a charity event. So all the proceeds go to Soldier On, which is like a returned soldiers charity. So we'd run things like that. So and that's basically it's like running an event. I guess it is
running an event. It's not like running one. It is running one.
It's all the fucking work of running an event, but you don't have to do ticketing. I way prefer that because like the worst thing is like chasing people for money. Have you paid? Have you paid? Have you fucking PayPal me? Oh yeah, I did from this. Oh, but my name's different on my PayPal and blah blah blah. Like, who the fuck is this person? I don't recognize your name because you're just like some internet person with a fake name. I just hate doing all that shit. So I tend to not really count those sort of things. But you're still doing the players pack and coming up with all the shit and finding tables and stuff. Well, also some of the tables most of the tables actually are provided at HeroCon too. Like Ty has fucking like 1 trillion fucking tables. So it's not as much work When I imagine running an event, number one thing I think about is fucking setting up trestle tables.
Yeah, so that is, funnily enough, that's one of the benefits we get. So we run an event it's a shop. It's like, just imagine a mini Warhammer world. He has rows of tables, he has the terrain, and we get the benefit of being able to say we're bringing 10 people, or we're bringing, next time it's 40, which is insane that 40 people are willing to trust me to write them custom missions. They've seen the pictures of me having plastic sheep. I've already got plastic sheep models to use in one of the custom missions. They're still willing to come. That's on them. If they have a crap time, that's their fault for signing up. They were pre-warned. But they can accommodate up to 40 gamers, and I don't have to do anything except the week before tell them how much food to order in. And I think that is, I'm really lucky because the Edge Empire guys that you might have seen some of their events, they do like a scout hall. They hire a scout hall. It's on this weekend, and I've seen them ordering, like bringing the tables in, because I set off super early and I help them set up the tables when I've been going, and that's just fucking chore. Like, that is shit.
Yeah,
you're setting up like enough tables for everyone. You get all the mats out, you get all the terrain out. Some poor bastard has that stored in their house somewhere, filling up a cupboard. And yeah, I don't have to do any of that, so I'm quite lucky in that regard. Or we're quite lucky.
Yeah. No, that's good. That's where you want to be. If there was more places like that, that'd be fucking amazing.
Yeah. But poor Richard, he did his fantasy
event.
and he had to do all that.
No, I was gonna say mine. It was like I was like slave labor. So I had to go. So I had to hire a hall up here for my fantasy event I was running. It was only 12 people. It wasn't massive, so
No,
that's
not
fine.
only
But
in 12. 12 is good.
Yeah, that's good. What edition?
yeah, no. When I say only 12, I mean as in regards to setting up tables, setting up terrain,
Okay.
putting out the maps. So I
Yeah.
had to do the whole lot of it.
It's 8th edition you do, isn't it?
Is it 8th?
Yeah, 8th.
Yeah, best edition. Don't let these
I'd
fucking
say-
6th ed fucking people tell
I
you.
actually prefer 6th, but you know.
Oh,
No.
don't be a scab.
But that's like, I think that is the challenge, is because when you're taking people's money and you've got to have all the terrain and
Yeah, mate. You
All the
see me,
admin
I was
shit.
playing-
I fucking
I was
hate
playing
doing.
for 5 weeks straight.
yeah, he's paying.
Yeah, I hate doing admin. Like the number one thing that, if anything, that I feel like I've pioneered in this hobby, the number one thing is the whiteboard scoreboard. Like you just write your fucking point. Like play the games, count up your victory points. Victory points will tell you in the game whether you've won or lost the game. Congratulations, you've won or lost that. Just go and put that fucking score on the board, update the board, and then overall over the whole campaign we can see what's happening. We can play. You can have extra bonus points. Just make a list of fucking bonus points. At the last event I ran, instead of coming up with them, like me sitting there just typing up fucking shit that might not be used. I said, okay, this is how we're gonna do it. Everyone, suggest what do you want bonus points for? Just tell me, and I'll write them on the board. I'm going to start off. Here's number one. I think you should get a bonus campaign point if you win a challenge. Boom, that's on the board. So if you score any of those, you just get an extra campaign point. That's just what we did in the last one. I think that was good. Like you could get extra points for that. Buy your opponent a drink, get a campaign point. And then you can incorporate Titanicus. Just work out the campaign point, victory points from that. And we had Battlefleet Gothic as well. If you killed a ship that was of a class bigger than you, then you got a campaign point. So that way, you don't need any spreadsheets. You don't need any of that shit. And you don't have to fucking tell people have a scoreboard and you won the most games and shit, because it's a fucking campaign. You don't get points for being the best dick kicking guy. You get points for. You might get a trophy or something for having a really nicely painted army.
Maybe.
And you might have a trophy for being just a cool dude who I think is who the tournament organizer thinks is a cool dude or whatever. Here, have an award for being fucking cool. But just taking all the points away for so I when after an event and someone will publish the scores, and then you're just fucking. Oh, I came fucking 25th again. Fuck. I hate that shit.
I think
maybe that's just because I was always in the bottom half of those things, but I just hate them. And plus, think about all the admin. At a classic tournament, the fucking person who's running it, I've never run an event where I've done this, but every event, when I think about the tournament organizer, that's just the cunt that's sitting at a fucking laptop, typing all this shit into fucking spreadsheets, instead of walking around taking photos of shit and having a drink. That's fucking stupid. On top of, you've already done all the admin shit, chasing people for money, which is annoying as fuck already. And then you've brought all the shit and set up all the trestles, and then you spend all day sitting at a fucking laptop. Get the fuck out of here. So that's why whiteboard scoreboard, man. Fucking crazy.
I can already see the two guys that I knew would benefit from that lesson have said, "I'm writing that down." I think if they have a whiteboard or I can get a cheap one, I'm stealing that, because
it's easy as fuck, man.
You're right. You're right about the sort of. So I've probably still got the Google Sheets from all our events, and I could tell you if I really had to who won all their games or whatever bollocks. But I do literally just do. So it's game 2. The loyalists scored 140 victory points, and the traitors scored 128. I just put a sticker on the map that my wife draws for us because she's an artist, and I just put a sticker with a loyalist badge on it, and the loyalist won the round. And you're right. Why the fuck do I track all the games and stuff then? Doesn't make any sense to track how many victory points people scored. Who cares?
Well, you just write them down. Yeah. So the other thing, so there's two styles of thing. That's what we ran in the last event. previous to this, you know, there's like hex tiles that Games Workshop used to make.
Yeah.
Yeah, Planetary Empires, Mighty Empires.
That's it. Yeah. Planetary Empires and the fantasy one. I had a set of each of those. And I was like, I've had these for fucking years and never done anything with them.
Yep.
I'm gonna fucking dig them out and use them. And then when Titanicus first came out, the victory points and shit are different. And I didn't know enough about Titanicus, and we had this event coming up, and I was just like, rather than actually reading the Titanicus book and figuring out how that works, I'll just fucking paint a fuckload of tiles instead. I don't know. It seems like more work actually now. Now I'm actually thinking about it and saying it out loud. I don't know why I thought this, but anyway. So I made a tile set. Since then, I've actually got Michael can 3D print those tiles as well with crazy shit on them, like hives and all sorts of stuff. But I made a tile set. So the other way, instead of having just like the scores on a whiteboard and you just go off bulk score. And by the way, like you can add all sorts of crazy shit into that to add more points. Like you can, if your crowd are like, yeah, more points. You can create all sorts of like sub quests and things like that and other shit like that. But the other way is using a hex based thing. But what you want to do is have, I think the big mistake that everyone makes with the hex based shit is they go, yeah, I'm gonna make a huge fucking hex based map, and they make like 30 tiles or some shit, and then they're like, okay, everyone choose a place to start. And everyone's like, okay, I'm over here, and I'm here, and I'm there, and I'm here. And you're like, okay, now play games. And then we'll just mark down the tile that, like, where you played. Like, what the fuck's going on? So what you want to do, though, is you want to have one tile for each table. So when you have 6 tables, only have 6 tiles.
Okay.
And then what you do, and this is what we... obviously, as I said, spreadsheets or fucking long-winded tracking of fucking shit. No, that's horseshit. You just put dice on the hex. So
I was going to a suggestion for you then that could maybe make this better.
Some kind of little turny boy or something?
Well, so, you know, you get, I assume all of them have the hole for the flag.
Yeah.
So you could have, instead of having the tiny little flag, you could make a very long pole, and you could put anything on there. Clothes pegs, doesn't fucking matter, any colour of them. Whoever wins on that battlefield has a colour, they just put their peg on.
Yeah.
And then...
Oh, well, no. Okay. Hey, it's slightly more complicated than that. Pegs? No, okay. So it's not just like who's won that tile. That obviously like counts. But so what we do is I put dice on there to represent a score, because each table, when you win a game, if you win by a large margin, you gain 3 campaign points on that tile. Mm-hmm. If you win, but if it's 2, maybe it's 2. Yeah, if you win by a large margin, this is pre-COVID that we ran.
You can just make up. We're not going to be able to check. None of us live in Australia, so you can just.
Okay. So you get 2 points if you win by more than double the other person's points. So if I get 6 victory points and you only get 3, then I get 2 campaign points on that tile, and that's represented by a dice. And then if someone else comes onto that onto that tile, you can choose to stay on that table and defend it if you want. And you're defending your score. So it becomes sort of like, a lot of people will just be like, I'm dug in, I've won 2 games in a row, I can't let someone take all these points. Because if the other player wins on that table, they get rid of your score, clear your score, and they change it to their score. So basically at any point, it creates this like sort of swinging back and forth mechanic, which is really good, because every time they come up, it's different. Because, you know, people might win 3 games in a row by double points, and they're sitting on like 6 points. What are they going to be like? Oh, yeah, I'll just go to a different table and just fuck those points off and not care. No, because they want to hold them. The kinds of people that that appeals to, of digging in on a table, Iron Warriors players, Death Guard, and just, you know, shitheads like that just want to like fucking just want to like hold out against those guys. Like, yeah, it people love that sort of shit.
So we do.
Because what yeah.
So we do when you destroy a super heavy I've got loads of craters that I bring, and you put it on the table, and it stays on for the rest of the weekend. So
Oh yeah.
usually
Awesome.
someone will move on. We don't have someone staying on the same table. But I think that combined with what you've just said could have this crater-filled war zone that this person has personally caused. I kind of like that.
Yeah,
I think there's
yeah.
something in
It would
that.
just
That'd
be
be really
the
cool.
whole army would just
That
be
would be really
sitting with covered in craters. Yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
but that I like both ones. The hex-based one, because you're just accumulating points. You can. I also had a tile which has a stem on it, which has a space station,
Mhm.
and so that like you can have zone metalis counting on that as well. So the last time we had actually 3 zone metalis tables, and there was 3 different. They had 3 different scores on the space station, and they ended up they can crash the station into the planet. In the first campaign we ran, they actually crashed it into one of the tiles. And so the next year where we ran the same thing, I painted up tons of just like bombed out cities and shit like that. There's just tons of tiles had like I just made craters covering them and stuff. So it's just so next time we run it, which I'm guessing will be after COVID, whenever we all
6 years' time.
get vaccines or whatever. Yeah. Like I'll have even more tiles that are just like craters until I just have basically only crater tiles, and everyone's just fighting over just just nothing but craters.
I think that's when you
But
can get the
the
games that
reason,
matter. I think that's really good when you can get it to be a story.
yeah, the thing about that is that the tile based thing is really good for incorporating different systems. If you want to have 28 mil tables, you want to have some Zone Mortalis games, you want to have some Centurion games, you want to have some Frontline games, and then you also want to have maybe some Epic 30k if anyone has that, which is becoming more popular, or you want to play Battlefleet Gothic or Titanicus. You can track all of that because at its core, it's just basically a win-loss system on the hexes to determine, but you're just adding a little bit of score. And in addition to that, one of the other things that I found is, when everyone who starts off like running a 30k campaign, they'll always include some mechanic where you can bombard some fucking dude off the table. Like, oh yeah, if you control this gunfire array thing, you can call down fucking D-strikes on the enemy, and then you get to like take a template and put it on someone else's shit and just fucking blow it. What I've noticed over the years is that people really don't like that. Like when they're playing like a 3,000 point game and then you just kill their glaive with a D shot from off the table and they can't do anything about it. And now they're going to spend the next 3 hours with like 625 points less. They just don't like it. It's just fucking stupid. So I don't like it either. I haven't had it happen to me personally. Oh, no, sorry. I have had a thing where someone got to shoot into the side of my Atropos and just it was really annoying because I was about to charge her into a Primarch or something, but whatever. People don't like that shit. So using the hex-based thing where you're accumulating a little score, we still have ways of getting bombardments, but instead of actually just dropping shit on people's tables and just ruining their game, they still get to play their game and have fun, but you can bombard victory points off their tile. So if someone is dug in on a tile, like obviously someone can just go, I don't give a fuck, I'm just moving to the next battle zone, man, whatever, I don't give a fuck. But it's always hilarious when someone is fucking like building up these points and then they start being bombarded. Because sometimes someone will just dig in and be like, fucking, I just won that last game because I've got a really good deployment, like, and I've got a really good defensive army. Fuck you, I'm just going to sit here all weekend. And then that gives you a way to fucking strike at that person, even though it's not directly. You're still like, well, while you're just sitting there, we're just bombarding you. So campaign wise, you're gaining points, but campaign wise, we're also like doing D3 campaign points off you every round. So you're losing points strategically because you're just stuck there, like you're not doing anything except fighting.
I'm sold on that.
Things like that.
That's cool. I think that's like that sort of because it makes it more real. Like I think it's a more so what we've stuck in because people generally don't want to play in the same table necessarily. Like you move on and you play a different person every time, which I think is important at events where no one wants to go to an event and play 3 games against the same person or drive down with someone and end up having to play that bastard. Like you play with them every week.
Rearrange terrain as well, don't forget. Like if that person's choosing to defend, you can always say, hey, I'm going to rearrange the terrain for you, is that cool? And then if they say, no, I want to keep the terrain, you go, okay, you've got this strategic advantage, you can keep this terrain, or I can rearrange it for you. So you got options there. What's the difference between playing on 3 different tables or the same table that's being rearranged 2 times? Like if you're playing a game at home, you're probably going to be playing, like I can see a table behind you. if you played 3 games, you're not gonna like change tables, right, in between your games, unless you're streaming them or something. Like, no, I'm a fucker. I'm gonna change to the orange table now.
I think that's a good point. I think that's something that I'm blooming heck. I didn't expect that sort of half an hour to make me question or uh, embolden me to make changes. I kind of had November in my head.
Empowering you, man. I'm empowering you.
Yeah.
What? Okay, at the core of all of the innovation, let's say innovations, is basically like that you've been playing as long as I have, essentially, is for the last 20 years before that, we were just doing the same fucking thing, which is everyone brings the same number of points, everyone's playing the same mode of game, everyone is basically playing a random person in the first round and then matched against someone who got the same score as you in the first round. And then each round is just like match play, like whatever the fuck match play means. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah,
chess.
yeah.
What's it called? Swiss chess.
Swiss
Bullshit
pairing.
or something?
Swiss pairing.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, Swiss pairing system. That's what we did for like 20 fucking years, and I didn't know if that made the games better. I'm not sure, but I do know that as soon as you fuck all of that shit off, it definitely makes the games better because it's just more fun. Like getting to finish your games, number one. Getting to just like we run events where you have all sorts of different points levels, and you just organize. You just say like, hey, do you want to play Centurion game, or do you want to play ZM? Like there's a ZM table there. Do you want to play ZM? And stuff like that. Like you mix it up in an event.
Swiss
And
pairing,
if you can get people to bring 3 lists, boom.
Swiss pairing is shit because it encourages you to lose your first game to get an easier weekend.
Submarine.
Which I don't like that. I think that's a crap system. But anyway, I can see poor Richard.
If you're trying to game the system, yeah.
Poor Richard told me that he was needing to pack. He's his partner's birthday tomorrow, and he's not wrapped their presents. And it's 12:30 here. So the final question from us for you is: where do you see the game going over the next 6 months to 12 months? Where do you think Heresy is going to go?
I don't know. Like now that there's all this scale talk.
I was going to say it's going to go bigger.
Is it going to go bigger? I don't know. I'm calling bullshit on the scale talk until someone does some like serial killer style shit, where they've got the pictures next to each other and they've got lines and they've done a 3D mock-up of it. You know, like the JFK assassination, where they have like on these documentaries where they've recreated the car and they've like, here's it in 3D, and if you look at it like this, if we change perspective, it was the fucking grassy knoll, or like there was someone in the drain shooting with a fucking pistol they assembled from an umbrella or something, just shit like that. That's what I want to see. I want to see some fucking evidence like that. I kind of, even if that's the case. Okay, so the worst case scenario is they go, this isn't 30k anymore. This isn't Age of Darkness. This is the Solar War. No, is it Solar War or is it?
Yes.
Siege of Terror. Siege of Terror.
Well, Solar War is the part
Siege.
Of that, yeah.
This is Siege of Terror, and it uses the new edition, whatever that is,
Yeah.
ninth ed, right? 8th ed, ninth ed.
We're currently 9th and 40k.
Yeah, okay. Ninth. It uses 9th ed rules. It's a 9th ed version of the game. That's the worst case scenario. The second worst case scenario is Siege of Terror is just like Battle for Calth and what's that other one?
Burn and Prospero.
Yeah, where it's like, here's all the models. Oh wow, can't wait to see the rules. Oh, it's a fucking weird hex-based board game or some shit. That's the second worst case scenario. Yeah, I didn't. Well, yeah, okay. I'm giving the full range, the full scenario. I don't think it probably isn't going to be either of those. The next one is that it's like a new version of the game. None of your old shit is fucking worth a damn anymore. It's all new lists. And also the scale is just like, as an aside, also the scale is slightly different. In which case, we can still keep playing from the Bible, what we call the Bible, the Red Book.
That's a good one. I like that name.
Picture of Alan Bly, the dedication to Alan Bly. We can still keep playing using the Bible. Like, those rules are totally fine. Like, we've played them for fucking years. That's one of the best things about the Heresy, is that the rule set was so stable. I mean, If they massive, I've got a whole Space Marine army that I'm doing for Isstvan 5. If they've changed the scale, I just won't do that. I'll still build them for Isstvan 5, and I'll still be able to play against all the people who also have Isstvan 5 compatible armies.
Yeah.
So I'm not super worried. I think like Age of Darkness would just become like a secondary thing. Like you might have an event where it's Age of Darkness and the new game or whatever. I imagine what it's going to be from what they're saying, that it's going to have like a little rule book or something in there for a new edition, which but there's no information, right? We don't know if they're going to invalidate all the books. We don't know what the fuck's going to go on. There's a ton of shit in those black books. It's fucking awesome. We always talk about it all the time. There's so much good stuff in there. Stuff that most people haven't even played through yet. The Chondax campaign. We still haven't played a fucking Chondax campaign. There's tons of shit in there.
I think the interesting thing, the one thing that no one has really picked up on about the leaked photos is there's a little bottom left box that says terrain, scenery not included. So the picture suggests that's the contents to me. So we're not getting a hex-based board game if that is true. There's a scattered.
Yeah, I don't think. Yeah.
So
I can't imagine that. But
so that would I think you're maybe my guess is that it's a little mini rule book, or they might just say fuck it and give you a hardback one. I don't know. And it'll be relatively expensive box, but the content will be pretty shit hot. That would be my guess.
Yeah, we just don't know enough. We don't know what happens if they change the edition and only Space Marines are valid now, and we got to wait like 3 years for Mechanicum rules or Demon rules or whatever, right? Like that would be the most. That would be the most annoying
Solar
fucking
Auxilia
thing.
at top of the thing. Who gives a fuck about mech and demons?
Yeah, I feel like what their plan was to do Crusade era shit and get all the Crusade era shit out, and then move into late war or late heresy.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was probably the plan all the time. If you look at it's all called the Crusade list. It's not called Horus Heresy era gaming. It's Crusade era, Age of Darkness Crusade era Space Marine list. Militias and whatever the fuck it's got. It's got Solar Auxilia, Crusade. Yeah. So now they've finished all the Crusade lists. You could say, I mean, like it would have been good to get Dark Mechanicum, but apparently that book's just been thrown in the shredder or whatever. But they did essentially they did all the legions, and then they did a fucking shitload of lists. There's tons of stuff. There's fucking tons of stuff.
Yeah.
So essentially, you could say that is like the first edition of anything they've ever fucking finished as well. Like, can you? I mean, Second Ed was sort of like, I guess Second Ed they got to Sisters of Battle, and then they just went, oh fuck the squats. Like let's do a new fucking edition or whatever. But and fantasy definitely, like they never finished everything in any edition of 40k or fantasy since. So I feel like they got so close with 8th edition. They were 3 books away. They just had to redo Bretonians and stuff, and they just went, nah, fuck it, let's kill it off, create a bullshit bubble realm and all that crap. But so Crusade era gaming. If you want to do Crusade era gaming and early Heresy, boom, all of that shit is there, and no one Andy Hoare's not going to come to your house and take the fucking black books out of your house. You can still play all of that shit. We can still keep playing that. Like I love Isstvan 5. Like Isstvan 5, like just insane fucking Grimdustrial Nightmare, which I definitely want to recreate on the tabletop in my house, just because I love recreating fucking horrific events, horrific future events.
What was it you said at the start? You said you collected German tanks. you like recreating horrific events.
Just making giant dioramas in my house. Yeah.
You know what? I find this quite easy to just cope with. Do you know this whole what's the word I'm looking for? Just waiting to see what happens. Because I've been playing Fantasy 8th edition since it got killed off. I can still play the game. It doesn't matter. I've still got the books.
I think it's interesting because that's a great point about the sort of. We have got, they're all here. I'm pointing at them like you can see them. I've got all the black books. They've got the red books. The Murneville event stuff is great little supplements for adding in extra flavour. Centurion that you guys invented is another sort of tool. And I agree. I think that the intention was they probably were going to say, right, the Death Guard got fucked up on the way to Terra, so here's your second version of all the traitors and what happened to them. And here's Plague Marines, here's True Noise Marines, here's Khorne Berserkers, like that sort of update would come. and the loyalists might stay quite similar, but they might say, you know what, Lehman Russ got fucked up on the Vengeful Spirit, so here's version 2 that no one will ever use because it'll be shite compared to the first version. But
Yeah,
at least you
yeah.
could be like, at least there's an option there of saying, okay, well, here's Angron as a demon Primarch, and he's leading
Yeah,
Gorn
yeah.
Berserkers. Like,
Oh yeah. I think there. I mean, I'm assuming there are when you envisage like the full game, there were. I mean, was Alan Bly started writing it for 5th Ed 40k?
Yeah.
So he was probably envisaging the entire thing in 5th Ed 40k. That was obviously not to happen. So I mean, at some point they're going to have to create a new version of the game. I guess like why
Yeah,
not?
it's a known that.
So why not finish the Crusade era shit? That's Crusade era gaming. If you want to do that, we can still do that. And they're still fucking awesome. There's lots of shit to play there, and the rules are really good. When they're gonna create a new version, why not just start with Siege of Terra? Start with like Space Marine lists, because obviously that's what everyone wants to play. And then they introduce shit like Custodes as allies or Demons as allies and blah blah blah, and that's how they populate the game. I imagine, and I have no like. When I talk to Andy Hoare, I send him pictures of our Necromunda game, and I go, "Look at my mutants fucking killing dudes," and he's like, "Yes, fucking mutants are awesome. I agree." Like, it's not like, "So what's the fucking business plan for the next 6 months?" Like, yeah, it's just dudes sitting in a fucking shop in a shed in Nottingham, man. Like, that's way above my pay grade. But what I would imagine is that they're going to move to a thing like Necromunda, where they bring out a book every quarter.
That is our speculation as well, yeah.
Yeah, and what's in that book, who the fuck knows, right?
And
So
I think it's
that's the
healthy
exciting
though.
thing.
Like, I think that there's a lot of pressure because they fucking nailed all the content. It was coming out every like 4 months. We were getting a black book, and like books 1, 2, and 3 came out in the span of about 18 months or something stupid like that. Like, it was
very quick, yeah. Book 4 just came out of nowhere. Like, I think there was 1 year where there was 2 books in the year. Yeah,
and it's that sort of like they rushed it out, and it slowed up. Of course, it did, because Alan Bly sadly passed away, and he's a big loss for all that knowledge. But like, we were spoiled at the start, and we got used to that. And I don't mind a quarterly. Here's a hardback book that covers, I don't know, Prospero. We've done Prospero, but just say that for the sake of a.
I think it will be Siege of Terra themed. I think they'll
that'd be
concentrate
good,
on what's happening in Terra, and I think like the fluff as well. And I mean, I've only read Solar War, and now I've gone back and I'm trying to catch up and read a whole bunch of the books that I didn't read, like Wolfsbane and all this shit. I believe that all the legions are being written into Siege of Terra. You know what I mean? To some extent, so that you can play Iron Hands, you can play Salamanders or Blood Angels. Oh, obviously Blood Angels. Even like Ultramarines, I'm assuming, are going to just like fucking knock knock. So I think that's what it'll be. The new stuff. I can't imagine them going back and writing a whole. Because imagine how much shit you need to. Like, if you're doing a new version of the game, trying to recreate those black books, why would you even bother, right? Like, they're just fucking massive megatomes. No, redoing them would devalue them, I think. And whereas keeping them as that game's still valid, with all the models we make, you can use in that game as well. Yeah. Maybe they keep selling those softbacks as well. Maybe they just keep selling those softbacks, right? And you just play in that era. Like, it doesn't make sense not to do it, because you're still selling shit. Having those books available means that the game is still alive, if you know what I mean. People are still going to buy shit for that game.
You're saying it like Games Workshop are rational, though. Sometimes they make very knee-jerk odds.
I know, but they also do cool shit, like they reprint, the old Slaves to Darkness books and stuff like that.
And that's a brilliant book.
And
Rogue Trader rulebook.
I know it doesn't make sense when you think about like Games Workshop and how they operate. However, just remember, and I mean, Richard will know all about this, the Andy Hoare interview about the old world, where it says, we want people to be able to play with their old models. And I was just like, what the fuck? Like, how's that fucking... This can't be real.
He did specifically say not Chaos Dwarfs, though, which I found very strange. He said Chaos Dwarfs are shite, and they were getting written out.
But yeah, so, I mean, this is the same part of the company. And I'm pretty sure Horus Heresy is being run by Andy Hoare's group that he's in charge of.
Yeah, it is, yeah.
And he's a sound
Not to
guy.
call
Like,
him. I don't know. I keep saying his name like he's some.
you're
I
going to
don't
say
want to
it 3 times in
start
front of
some
the
sort of
mirror,
hero
and
worship shit.
he'll actually appear if you
Yeah,
say
I
it
don't
three
want.
times. Like Beetlejuice.
Yeah, but you know what I mean. Like I feel like that could make sense given like
Yeah, no, I think that's
given
fair.
what
I
he
think that,
knows about the hub.
yeah, and I think like it's in good hands in essence. Okay, so I've well gone over. Poor Richard, you've got to wrap these
All right.
presents. The last thing, last word, short and sweet, Tim. You like to drag out a
Yep.
sentence. What
Oh
is
yeah.
the
Sorry. Yeah.
what is the
6 minutes. Yeah.
best thing about the heresy in your own words? What's the absolute best thing?
Best. The best thing is it's, and I think people just like somehow just forget about this all the time and think of it as more of just a focused thing. Is it's like an enormous setting, like it's a bigger setting. Like it's just a huge setting. It's the ultimate war. Like when people are like 40k, oh yeah, fucking grim, like fucking end time, like shit's going down in the 41st millennium. That's fucking just baby games. That's like that's the remnants of the Imperium. Like after we fought over it, fucking and destroyed most of the shit. Like we're playing in the time when shit was fucking great, and then we fucked it all up, and now you guys are playing in the remnants of that with like, except also fucking Necrons fucking your shit up, and also just giant space bug fucking things killing you, and like hentai Tau fucking suits and shit. Um, that sucks. That background sucks. 30k is the setting's way better. Like you can still have Eldar and Orcs and Necron tomb worlds and shit, except you don't have all the fucking stupid nonsense of the 31st millennium. So the best thing about 30k is the setting, man, and it's just so huge. You can do whatever the fuck you want. The Shadow Wars, the stuff in book 6, go and read that stuff. Like Alan Bly was a fucking genius when it came to that shit. Black Shields as a fucking thing. The idea that like even Traitor Legion guys were just so far away from their legion for like hundreds of years that they just became like autonomous fucking guys, and then did whatever the fuck they wanted, and then thousands of years later sort of rejoined the Imperium as a Space Marine chapter, stuff like that. Like it's fucking like he was a fucking genius. So shit was going down in a galactic scale. When you remember, there's like what 800 billion stars in the galaxy. So it's a fucking enormous, fucking insane place where all kinds of shit can go down. All of the crazy fucking haunted zones and like, oh, giant space kraken and weird fucking interdimensional mysteries. All that shit's still around. There's even more of it because it hasn't been like fucked with by the Inquisition. Adventurers haven't gone down there and done all that shit yet. It's a fucking insane setting. Like, and you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. And that's what when you're creating an event, almost everyone just creates their own fucking planets and then destroys all of them. Like because that's what happened during the heresy. Like half of the shit got destroyed. Like we played around with the good shit and we fucking broke it all. Enjoy. We're out.
That is the perfect answer. I was going to ask you, Richard. I don't think you can top that. Go on, Richard. Have a go.
What was the question again?
What's the
Say it
best
again.
bit? What's
I
the
was
best
about to say that too. What was the question again? I can't remember what I was
What's
saying.
the best bit about the heresy?
Best bit about the heresy. What is the best bit about the heresy? Do you know what it is? How's the best way to describe this? It's the tragic narrative story behind it.
Yeah.
For me,
I think
the brother and brother, the backstabbing, the treachery ways, the love loss between legions, primarchs, all that stuff.
I think
it's the narrative for me.
I'll steal both of your answers because the tragedy of like when you're reading a book and you're like, oh, Karn, just fucking kill Erebus, and and you won't have to. Magnus, don't be a cunt. Like, come on, just this one time. Horus, just don't fucking make the deal. Like that tragedy in there, and in the scale, like Tim said, the scale of the conflict. Like we are playing like I've lost games where I've lost 20 Marines, and in 40k you're like, oh no, 20 Marines, oh, how's my chapter ever going to recover? In 30k you're like, oh fuck cares, that's one squad, I don't care.
Yeah.
Bring on
Yeah.
the next one. And that's like,
Yeah.
I think that's the scale of it, and the sort of the tragedy of it all, where we were at this peak, we were so close to achieving what the Emperor really intended, and we fucked it up. Very human. It's a very realistic, believable setting where a Primarch will
Yeah.
be like,
Yeah, that's
I'm not doing what that guy says. What the fuck? Like, he made me bend a knee to prove a point because he's a dickhead of a dad. Like, that sort of stuff, you're like, oh, actually, I can see your point, why you were a bit pissed off. I love all that stuff.
Yeah.
see what you said there about it being human. That's a good point, because it sort of makes it feel more real.
Yeah.
In a way. Do you know what I mean?
Like,
Yeah.
when you read, like, the point of view of there's a story, sorry, I'm the one that's rambling on. There's a story as a short, it was very early on in the Black Library, the Space Wolves conquer a planet, and they're fighting alongside these humans that have been enslaved by an alien race. And the whole way the Space Wolves are helping them, they're bigging them up, and they go and they win the war. And the Space Wolves are like, hooray, you can join the Imperium now. And they go, no, we're free. We're free from that tyranny. We want to be independent. And the Space Wolves just like, like right at the end of the story, that's how it ends. He's just like, fuck that. And it's that sort of like, just insanity of it all. I love it. I just think it's such a good setting, and it doesn't have that in fantasy, it doesn't have it in 40k, it doesn't have it in any of the other game systems, because I just think it's so batshit crazy what happens in the Heresy that you're like, yes. Wouldn't want to live in it, but I love to play in it.
No, fuck no. No.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
let poor Richard go. We've gone on far too long. Just
Yeah,
thank you so much,
fucking
Tim.
wrap.
That was fantastic. It's exactly what I hoped. I'm
Yeah,
glad
thanks.
that you reached out to me as well, which I didn't expect. I would never have thought in a million years we could get you on for a chat. So thank you very
Oh
much.
no, definitely no. I love doing streams and stuff, or just any way that we can help sort of grow the community is great. So yeah, anytime, man. No, it was good. It was fun.
That's
I
brilliant.
didn't have to get up that early, really. Like, it wasn't that bad.
Well, that's good. We'll get you earlier next time.
Yeah. I can get up earlier next time.
So yeah,
I'm not worried about that.
we'll definitely send you some of our stuff when we start writing the event ideas.
Awesome.
You'll
Yeah,
see
yeah.
some of your stuff
That'd be great.
stolen.
Yeah, just make it easy for yourself. You just want to make it easy for yourself. You want to, like, what you want to do, if like if I set up all my shit, I want to have tons of photos for social media. And although at my last event that I ran was my birthday event, so everyone was buying me drinks, so I was pretty fucking shitters. About 3 hours in of a 20-hour event, I was pretty smashed. And I didn't get as many photos as I'd hoped because I just kept forgetting to take photos. But that you want to make it easy for yourself, so you've got time to go around and like talk to people, make sure people understand what's going on with the rules. You don't want to be sitting there typing shit into a fucking laptop. Like, that's the worst thing. Then, like, if you go to an event and you see the guy who's running the event and he's got a table set up and he's got like trays, like, this is my in tray. Like, what? An event should be like people hanging out having a party, not fucking here's my in tray. Like, you fucking serious? That shit, that's fucked. I'll leave you with that.
Yeah,
Straight up fucking in tray.
he's doling out the advice just as we're saying bye. He's still like sliding it out.
Okay.
So thank you very much.
Can't help it, man.
And
thanks for having me on, man. It was awesome. It was good, guys. Thanks, guys.
We'll speak again soon.
Also, I like your rooms in the background. You both got like fucking epic, like, little nerd dungeons.
That is real
Nice.
used art in the codexes I'll have,
Yeah.
Spent far too
That's shit hot.
Yeah, I've got some Mark Gibbons original Chaos Dwarf stuff up there.
Yeah.
Obsessed.
I've just got my laminated John Blanche poster here.
That's still, I mean, the real one of that would cost like 10 grand, so I'd rather have a poster.
Yeah, it'd be expensive as fuck, yeah.
All right.
It's laminated. It's a bit shiny, but yeah, it's the Sister of Battle. I don't know if you can see. Sister of Battle.
That is cool.
Codex
The
thing.
poster's probably expensive as well. Anyway, sorry, we're getting on our tangent. Thank you very much.
All right, see you guys.
We'll get you on again soon, and thanks for everyone for watching. And this will go up on YouTube, and I'll send all the links and stuff. And we'll speak again soon. Thank you very much, Tim. It's been great.
Awesome.
Nice. Cheers, Tim. Bye.